I proposed to my girlfriend today.
Yeah, I did TikTok for 3 months.
What is a customer's journey right now?
If you think you know what your ideal client profile is, for sure, you're mistaken.
That's French. Okay, we'll still take it.
Discipline is useful when you don't have enough desire to do something. But the stick, it always hurts.
Well, it depends on where you stick the carrot.
Networking is completely overrated.
Guys, welcome to the show. Today I have a very special guest. His name is JB. He's the founder of Evaboot. Before we start, I want to have a brief introduction because I actually met JB through the internet. I sent him an email a few years ago, and then we had a bit of a chat. The relationship didn't go well, but here we are today in Buenos Aires, Argentina, recording this podcast for you. JB, very happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here.
So we're going to start this podcast with the few questions that I have for JB. So the first question is going to be, tell us exactly who are you?
Well, that's a tough one. I'd say I am a SaaS founder that's trying to be like ambitious and free at the same time, which is not obvious.
Okay, so and let's talk a little bit more about yourself. Can you actually explain, like JB, is it a real name? Or like, how do people? What is it in the passport?
It's all for marketing. It's actually Jean-Baptiste in French, but for non-French people, it's really hard to pronounce that well. So actually in France, when people have composed name like this, we say the first letters. So it's JB in French, so JB in English.
So people much better. In French, people call it JB.
JB, yeah. Nobody will say a composed name full,
right,
except if they are angry at you or you owe them money. That's the only case. But
I think that happens in all cultures. It's like I also says like where people say my full name, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's important if they say that.
yeah. It's like you go to some government stuff. And let's talk a little bit about where you're from originally. So you're from France, I'd imagine. Is there some region specifically?
From Paris, yeah.
Are you from Paris?
Yeah, from Paris.
Man.
Born and raised.
How, did you start traveling at some stage or?
Actually, during my studies, I've been to Vietnam, really? And Senegal as well. But most of the travel I've made out since we have this business, because we are really free with this SaaS business, because we are the business is self-service and we don't do calls with people. We don't do sales calls. So our calendars are pretty free. And most of our clients are in the US, not even in France. So we are pretty free to work from whenever we want. So I've been to Mexico, Lisbon, Seoul, and right now in Buenos Aires. So yeah, the lifestyles SaaS business offers is pretty great. I love it.
And talking about what did you study in university? Because it seems that you traveled during the university.
Business school, yeah.
Okay.
Regular business school.
Just study business.
You don't work so much there. I mean, you work a lot. So in France, you get this system. You work a lot in preparatory classes for 2 years, and then once you pass the exam, it's 4 years of parties and travel. So you did the hardest part, and then you can just chill.
You survived the French university, I guess. So.
Yeah, it was hard, man. I mean, I think I lost a few years of life expectancy there, but we're there now.
Well, I can imagine. So, the travels that you've done, they were through, was it Erasmus or something else, or?
Yeah, pretty student exchanges or internships. Stuff like that, the regular stuff.
I remember when I got to college, it was back in Ireland, and I remember when they started out, and there was this presentation of, I was in Trinity College Dublin, and they were like, prepare, this would be the 4 best years of your life. And I was like, okay. And then I went to Spain for my exchange, and then the presentation that they had there was like, prepare yourself, this will be the best year of your life. So it's just all this pressure to have it the best year of your life. And,
you felt that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's to be honest, after it, I think now I'm having the best years of my life, So it's I don't know if it's the same for you.
Actually, I prefer that right now,
yeah.
Because when you're student, you have the freedom, but you don't have the money. And when you have money, freedom, and time, if you have the three, that's you can have a great time.
I agree with this. Let's talk about a little bit about your business. This is the stuff that I reached out to JB at the time, because I had my digital SEO link building agency. So with JB, I was trying to sell him my service. He was like, he was adamant. But now he's asking me, he was like, yo, Artem, do you have anybody who does this SEO stuff? So there we go. There we go, guys. Perseverance.
Money is in the follow-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
3 years following up, and there we go. He's the boy the saddest. Recorded the podcast. So tell me a little bit about Evaboot, and how did the idea... tell me a little bit more about Evaboot, and how did the idea of it come into place?
Actually, to give credits where it's due, Evaboot is not my idea originally. It was my co-founder idea. So, and at the time he was like growth freelancer, and he was like building prospecting lists for companies. Anyway, he was doing that with code. And because he was like kind of frustrated with the no-code tools that were existing at the time. So the data was not clean, the lead was not filtered. So he ended up coding his own stuff, but like to provide service to people. And then like he realized that the more clients he had, the less he was working, because he was giving the same script, the same code to all clients. And so he was trying to get more clients, basically to productize a service like this. And actually he sent me a message to sell me this thing. And I was like, and at the time I had just quit my job, and I was like, I wanted to become a freelance as well. Like to.
And what were you doing at the time?
Sorry?
Like the freelancer, where were you going?
Actually, I was working in an AI development company, so computer vision stuff. So I worked on a project during 1 year and a half. It was like an algorithm like that recognize what is in your plate and charge you for that, for the food company, company restaurant basically.
Did it flop or did it work out?
It was really funny because we had like some serious debate about, man, we are confounding bananas and apples. This is really important. Like during 4 hours we were talking about fruits. Yeah. That was funny, but yeah, and actually I've taken a look at this project, and I was like, I can sell that. Give me that, I can sell that. I know I can sell that, because I had the belief, like during all these years before, like if you give me a P2P SaaS, I can sell it. I can sell that stuff, And at the time I was looking for white label SaaS to sell them. Oh. And Robin, my co-founder, came at the perfect timing. And then we said like, let's take your code and put it in the cloud, and that will make a SaaS. And that's how it begins. Yeah.
And Robin's job at the time was, so he was basically helping companies to get prospects or leads, or what was this?
Building lead lists, yeah, basically. So a company like the party said, we want like 1,000 head of sales in this city, and we want to have the emails as well. So it was basically building Excel files with all the data the company wanted, and also the professional emails of these people. And then he was selling basically the files like this.
I see. And then he came, he tried to sell you this stuff, and then you were like, oh man, I'm going to...
Yeah, I mean, it's like us, this small thing, like this small message you sent me, and now we're here. Yeah. And now him, this small message you sent me, and now it's been 3 years we are working on this project. So
you make me feel bad now. I'm thinking all about all the small messages I didn't send,
Yeah, it is really important, because one little thing like this can really change your life. So the small efforts, they compound. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so how did this evolve? So he reached out to you, then you were like, man, I really want this then to work. And then you had like, do you go for coffee, or like, how was this?
Actually, it was during COVID.
And what year? So 2020, right?
2021.
21, okay.
Yeah. So at the time it was COVID, so we just spent hours on the phone talking.
He's from Paris as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually I was in the preparatory class with him. The one I told you about. Yeah. Okay. And that's where we met. And we just like talked on the phone. And at the beginning, we were planning on launching an agency before the cloud thing. So sell this product, but at scale. Sell this service, but at scale. And then we were like, just put it on the cloud and make it a SaaS. And for that, we made a LinkedIn post. And I was playing with LinkedIn automation a lot before, because I like that. So I had like already like 13,000 connections on LinkedIn, because I was just adding people randomly. And at the time it was really easy, because today you have a lot of limitation on LinkedIn, but at the time it was crazy. It was like you could add like 300 people per day. So it was really easy to build a big network.
And now it's like 800 a month if you have a subscription as well for Sales Navigator. So
Yeah, it's not like way better before.
The Wild West of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
JB was there.
Yeah.
And then people like there's no tomorrow. Yeah.
Like
yeah, we met.
And actually we got a bit lucky, to be honest, because I made these posts and we worked a lot on the copywriting. So to describe the pain, and to describe the solution we could offer to that problem, because we decided to go with the fake it until you make it technique. So we just pretended we had the software. So this is the problem. Do you have it? We have a software. If you want to have the software, put a comment below the post. And at the time, it was a really good technique because you put a comment, it increases the reach of the post, and then more people comments. And we'll have 200 comments. And then I've just sent Calendly links to these people. And we had like more than 100 calls in 3 weeks with these people. And so we had so much feedbacks with that. It was pretty easy to build an MVP after that.
And in the post, you said what exactly you say in the post? I'm curious.
We said Sales Navigator is so painful to use. Every time you have these problems, good thing we built a solution, software to solve that problem for you and automate that. And if you want it, just put a comment.
If I go to LinkedIn right now and scroll back to 2021, will I still find the post?
Yeah, of course.
I'll still find the post. That's interesting. Yeah, I love these things because now you've got this. Level of business that you're at right now, and then you can skip back and check it out from it. I love it. It's so cool.
It's actually a good thing with LinkedIn post, and even when you create content on your YouTube channel or stuff like that, because you can see the version of yourself like 2 years ago. And sometimes, for example, I did a podcast like 2 years ago, and I look at myself, I'm like, you know nothing. You know nothing. Like, what are you saying? Like, you're gonna make so much mistakes. You don't know, and you don't know
full of bull. Yeah.
It's interesting to just see the progress that you have made since this time, because sometimes you forget about that.
Right.
So it's cool to take a look at that from time to time.
So going back to those 100 calls, you had those done, and then you got so much feedback and brought in the MVP. And what happened afterwards? So
then we just develop the product during 2 or 3 months, because we started in November and we made the first sale in April. And in between, we had a lot of exchange with beta testers. And actually, we made looking back, a great decision at the time, because we decided that my co-founder Robin will only focus on the deep tech part of the product, which is the API. So really the scraping, the data extraction part of things. And we decided to build all the rest of the software with a no-code tool, which is bubble.io. Mm-hmm. So all the things that are not essential, but that needs to be there, sign-up forms, lost passwords, settings, billing, stuff like that. It's not core business, but it's all the SaaS, they have that, And so I took care of that with a no-code tool. So it was really fast to develop, and Robin have been able to focus on the core value of the product, which was the data extraction part.
So you're part of this. You were actually also working. What were you working on at the time for yourself? Robin, I got it. He's the hardcore basically guy working on the product itself.
The tech guy that really works.
The really marketing guy. Takes two to tango. Argentina right there. So yeah. And you were working, so the stuff that you were doing so was it also a bit of development as well, or it's not?
Yeah, and it came from that actually, because I was doing interviews with people. I was wondering which acquisition channel could we use, prospecting. But at the time I was I'm just waiting for the product to be ready.
Right.
So I was how can I help my co-founder to go faster? And that was doing the non-core feature of the product, so billing, sign up, etc. That help us accelerate a bit the development of the MVP and the release of the product.
And also, talking about the actual name right now, and Evaboot, where did you take it from?
Actually, it's my co-founder idea. It was named Evaboot before I came in the project.
Oh, okay.
So, and in his idea, it was Eva it's the name of the robot in WALL-E. I don't know if you watched the movie.
Right.
Yeah. And actually, the software is cleaning the data. So it was like this image of this little robot cleaning Earth in the movie.
Now it connected.
It was like and we are the small robot that cleans your data. So Eva, and Boot is like to like the bot, like and Reboot is like to, makes think about like, tech stuff, you know.
Yeah. No, it actually makes sense right now. Okay, it makes sense. But we're like, how you have to tell me this? Like, are there any funny variations that people call it, or like they mistake it?
Yeah.
Somehow? Tell us this, because this is fun.
I know like people are pretty like, they have a lot of imagination because we have like Evaboot, Evaboot, Evaboot. And actually you can see that on the Google Search Console because you can see people that are like not spelling your brand name well. And right now we are even putting ads on misspelled version of Evaboot to be sure they find the product. But yeah.
Search. Okay, so the name.
It has to be really short, and especially if you're a SaaS business, get to be like pronunciated the same way in all languages. That's better because, for example, in English, in French, and in Spanish right now, Evaboot is not like pronounced the same way at all.
How do they pronounce it in Spanish?
Yeah, so Evaboot or Evabote.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. So let's talk about the product market fit, and tell me a little bit about you shared a little bit about the MVP, but what I'm curious about is the what idea did Robin have at the very start? Like, this was basically the thing that he was working on, but like the MVP itself, did it kind of adjust itself through the?
Actually, he had found the problem, and that's the most important thing because he had found a really niche problem and addressed a small niche market, and that's a really good thing when you start a SaaS business. And the problem was that on Sales Navigator, you have a lot of false positives in your search results. So for example, if you look for head of sales, you don't know why, but you're going to have a lot of HRs, for example, in your search results for a lot of reasons. And actually he had an algorithm to filter these leads and to say like, okay, no, this does not fit your search criteria. So this head of sales, so we validate that, and this is HR, and we mark this lead as not qualified. And that saved a lot of time people, because before they were going on the list, opening each profile manually and to check if the job title is the right one. So actually you could save hours by you using the tool. Second problem is that the data is not clean. For example, you got these people with the rockets in the names. I don't know why they do that, but you gotta clean that. You got people, they put their name in capital letters, for example, and you got to clean that, because if you put that in your CRM or in your automated prospecting sequences, you have like hello first name. And if you put like hello Anthony capital letters rocket, you're sure that you're not gonna have a reply. So you got to clean that before you import this data into your outreach automation tool. And the most obvious thing is that the Sales Navigator doesn't let you export the data. Like, simple. So you need to have a third-party tool to do that actually. So yeah, and also Sales Navigator does not provide the emails. So once we extracted, filtered, cleaned the data, we run an email finder algorithm on the data. And the fact that we clean the data and we scrap a lot of data helps a lot, because the way that email finders work is that they will take, for example, your first name and your last name, and then your company domain, and they will try a lot of things, like first letter of your first name, then family name, company domain. Mm-hmm. And if you have clean data, so clean names and clean company domain, the right company domain, then you increase your chances to find the right emails. Mm. So all that combined, it has a lot of value for people.
Yeah, this one is huge. It's like, yeah, but what you said, Anthony, all caps, rocket, it happened to me, like not within the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but through some other stuff that I was doing. But yeah, it's like once you have this done, it's like, but actually I had this a few times where people still reply because the actual copy was pretty decent. Like the offer was really good. So they would like, they're like, whatever. Or when you send a message to like the wrong person, this is the worst. When the email, like the email says, like, for example, John at, I don't know, company.com, and then you say, hey, Ken.
Yeah. that can happen as well, but at least you stand out, like in a bad way, but you stand out.
It's the guy who texted me this. I'm not even John, like, why would you do this?
But you get a bad reply, but you get a reply, so that increases your reply rate, your stats.
Yeah. And was there any time when like this thing was evolving at all? Like, did you feel like you need to say change something about like your initial idea, what Robin had in mind, like what he was working in with?
Actually, we didn't have to pivot because Robin really found the problem originally, and then we have these 100 calls, so we were really clear about what to develop at the beginning. And then the question was more like, what do we add to the product? Because we are really focused on doing one thing, do it well, because the common mistake that SaaS make is that they want to develop like 10 features at the same time, and this feature doesn't work. They have a lot of technical debt, and then they don't grow. They spend all your time at customer support because they can develop new features because their product is a mess. Mm-hmm. And we are aware of that. So we just did one thing super well. And actually that strategy worked. And then we only add another feature 1 year after that. We add the email finder. But at the beginning, it was just scraping, extracting, and cleaning and filtering the data. And that was enough.
Yeah, I love the way how simple this thing is. It's like, it's just such a like minor thing, but because everyone has it, it's a huge scale type of thing as well. So it's like, cut it early and then bam, it's so good.
Yeah, it's like the midwit meme of Y Combinator. It's like you got dumb people here and super smart people here, and you do a ghost curve like this. Mm. And so the dumb people, they say, but just make something people want. And the apparently intelligent people say, let's do a market study, let's send a Google form to these people and do this really complex thing. And then you get like super smart people, they're like, yeah, just make something people want, actually.
It sounds like I'm right in this curve, right on top of this, But
yeah, and actually, it's not so complicated. I mean, like the rules you have to follow to build a great company, I think they can hold on a sheet of paper. Yeah. It's the execution that is so hard, and to keep every day following these rules. But most people, they're trying to find hacks, how I can bypass this. You're not going to bypass anything. You got to run through every wall and face the problems and follow these rules. And that's the hardest part. Yeah.
I love this one. Okay, so what was the name of that curve again? Like this?
Midwit meme. Okay. You can look for it on the web.
Yeah, I really like it because that's how I felt sometimes as well. It's like you get dumb people, which are like, dumb, like obviously, all quote unquote, and they're like, yeah, just do this simple thing. They're not even thinking about just doing it. And then there's like this, smart people are like, we have to do a little bit think strategy and like all this and
actually, for example, I did a business school, and in business schools you have a lot of people like that, and that's why sometimes people like that, for example, left school at 18, they are much better entrepreneurs because they don't do PowerPoints, And in business school you do a lot of PowerPoints. You do like, let's do this analysis. And people that are more practical intelligence, they will just like let's just execute right now and let's just do stuff. And actually, they're better than the consultant syndrome a bit.
Yeah,
like over-analysis and not enough execution.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, because once you execute, you get feedback early, and then you see you change and accordingly. Exactly what you were doing. Since you're saying that you haven't really pivoted from the start, were there any times when you were thinking about pivoting but still didn't go into this?
I mean, you have a lot of shiny objects when you develop a SaaS because you can say like, especially if you don't grow. If you don't grow, you can say like, we don't grow because we don't have this feature, and then that's the trap. And most of the time, you don't. That's not the reason. It's your acquisition, is your product market fit on your initial feature. And that's the way to avoid problems. For example, it's like relationships. It's like, my last relationship didn't work. I just find a new one. It's not because of me, just the other person. And relationship and features is the same thing.
I like this comparison.
Yeah, and actually it was Robin that pushed this mindset a lot, because me, I'll have to.
You get distracted.
Yeah,
Okay.
a bit more.
Okay.
And Robin was more like, boom, tunnel vision.
Sit down.
Yeah,
Get yourself down, and
like he really helps me, and still today, like channel my energy in a
Is there a
one
specific
direction.
phrase he tells you in French, so you come down and just focus on what the... No, seriously, if there is something, you should...
Tell me, shut up. No, it's like, we really believe in compound effect. Like we talk about that a lot. It's like, just do one thing really well for a long time and wait for the compound effect. And most of the time it works. And we have seen it work now. So we believe in it because we have this reward system that have been built in the brain. You follow the rules and you had the reward. So the brain says, oh, next time I'm going to do that again, because the brain is really like Pavlovian, It's like you push a button, you get reward, and you want to do it again. So once you've seen the effect and the result of compound effect, it's easier to do it again. But yeah. What was, I forgot the initial question.
No, it was pretty good. It was about the not pivoting, deciding not to go any further. Especially right now, like there's all this AI stuff when every single SaaS is like, every second one is a AI, whatever.
Yes, it's funny because once AI has been released, I've seen so much SaaS released an AI feature that was like, just to release it, like, and if you put the technology before the problem, that's dangerous.
It reminds me of like completely unrelated example. It's like, I'd say 10 years ago when all this gluten-free stuff started popping up, everything was gluten-free. You go, it's like they've got meat, gluten-free, nuts, gluten-free, everything was gluten-free. I was like, if you want to be successful in business now, you have to have gluten-free in the name. So now it's like AI.
Yeah, I mean, I always wait the second wave. Like even, I prefer to miss the gains of the first wave and to reduce the risk and just take the second wave.
Interesting.
For example, now we are in the second wave of AI, and this is actually the most interesting part, because
how do you know? Sorry to interrupt. So how do you know it's a second wave before we go there?
Because ChatGPT is not on the TV channels news. At the beginning it was on TV. If everything is on TV, it means it's too late or it's too soon. But if journalists on TV speak about like AI, it means like this is like sexy, trendy stuff, because actually they don't know anything about AI, most of them, except like really specialized journalists. And that's where like you're gonna have this sexy trend, all the buzz, and say, let's do AI, we must do AI because it's trendy. No, you must do AI to solve a problem. If you have a problem and AI can solve that problem, use AI. But don't use AI just to tell people you use AI, That's completely useless. And right now, it's really interesting because a lot of people are giving up on AI. Because the thing is that ChatGPT does not cost $20 per month. With the usage you have, it's impossible with the cost of compute they have. You can have the value you want for $20. And to be even, what they do is like they actually reduce the efficiency of the script. And there are actually things that are written in ChatGPT, like they don't give too long answers. Keep your answers below a certain number of characters. So actually they do that to reduce the compute cost. And a lot of people are seeing ChatGPT giving less and less efficient replies, and they are giving up on it and saying, ChatGPT doesn't work. And actually, this is the best time, because a lot of people that followed that sexy trends are giving up on ChatGPT, and only the people that really knows that there are a lot of opportunities, they continue working on it. So this is actually the best time to do AI for me. And the best thing to do is to go through the API. Because with the API, you really pay your cost of compute. So, and you're going to see quickly that it's not $20, it's more like 1,000,
Okay.
And actually, we started to do that with customer support. We started to do that with SEO, and the results are amazing. Like in SEO, I don't even want to communicate on it, because that will be like an advantage, a huge advantage. I don't want even to tell it to people yet.
Okay,
you know.
perfect. We'll record a course. Sell it for how much? We'll sell it for something.
Actually, like I want to like take advantage of this advantage for
As long as possible, of course.
for 6 months, and then maybe we'll communicate on it. But
Yeah.
first create that gap. You know?
Yeah, of course. So 6 months, get
Yeah,
yourself on the
we
wait
do another
list.
one.
Yeah. Any advice you have for any other SaaS founders, given this whole stuff that we spoke about right now?
I mean, yeah, on AI, I mean, it's a good time to launch AI SaaS, for example,
Because
now.
it's the second wave, not because it's
Yeah,
the first.
because second wave. And if you take a look at the API and you find a real problem, AI is actually, when you use the API, it's actually really efficient at following the instructions. And then there is this opportunity right now of AI, but the rules are the same years than 30 years ago. Is that me? I love Y Combinator. So, for example, do something people want is the motto of Y Combinator. And it's so simple. And the fact that the biggest, incubator of the world has make something people want as a motto, tells that most people forget about that, and it's so simple. So that's the first thing, make something people want. Second thing is do things that don't scale. So this is from Paul Graham, the founder of Y Combinator, is that most founders, they start and they want to automate everything, and they want to delegate, and they will take an intern to do that job, and you actually have to feel the problem you solve, because you will, if you talk with a customer and the customer can feel like you experience the problem yourself and you felt the pain, because pain gets people closer. If you had the same bad experience,
Shared
the same
suffering.
pain, shared suffering is the best way to build a relationship, actually, and the fastest. So you have to have this bond with your audience and go in the weeds yourself. For example, as for Sales Navigator, go on Sales Navigator, look at the leads, click on the links, and feel the pain. And that way, when you build your product as that, I mean, if the problem is clear for you, the solution is easy because you know what to build, And right now, if I had to start over, I could spend 80% of the time understanding the problem.
We'll get to there.
Okay, not for now. And the third tips I'd say is do one thing, do it every day, and do it for a long time. It's super simple, but
it's hard.
So yeah, you have to put yourself in a scenario that makes failure impossible, for example. So if someone says, "Oh man, it's been 10 years, I'm doing the same thing every day, and it doesn't work," it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It can happen.
Yeah.
And that way, if you follow these rules, you make failure impossible because...
I love this stuff. It kind of goes to this processes stuff as well. It's like, no matter even if it doesn't work out for the first 9 years or something, then inevitably, because of the stuff you're doing, people will notice something will happen inevitably. It just does not. It's like, so that's why sometimes I say to myself, because for me to kind of capture it, I'm the victim of this scenario as well. I'm overthinking things, but then I'm like, just keep it simple. Just do something that has some value, and then just do it for a long time. It's like going to the gym. You don't see the results right away.
Yeah.
Just go and go and go, and 3 months later, there's still nothing, of course, because but then 6 months later it works better. So yeah,
it's like, I've been to the gym for the last 10 years and my body didn't change. Can happen. Can happen.
Now, if we look at your LinkedIn profile right now, it says 0 to 2 million annual recurring revenue. Is it true, first of all?
No.
Okay.
It's all a lie, man.
It's all a lie. I knew this. It's all a lie. But how long did it take you to get to the level where you're at right now? Doesn't matter if it's true or not.
So, 5 months to release the product. We made $46. First month we made $46. April, $36.
So you sent how many subscriptions?
One. One guy. Yeah. I can remember well they're the first clients because their faces.
You get drunk?
No, the parties with them now.
Yeah.
And we went to $46 to $10K in December. So 8 months. Then we went to $10K to $92K MRR in the next year. And then we went super fast to 92K from 150 in like just 4 months in April. Then the growth started to slow down a bit, and we reached 2 million ARR, so 160 MRR in like during the summer. And since then we are stagnating because we reached like business
plateauing basically.
plateau. Yeah. And this year was more about like rebuilding the business, because the thing that we grew super fast at the beginning, so a lot of technical depth. For example, the product was a mess, even the processes, no processes basically.
I really like the way you admit in this, because I think it's really important. It's not, you don't have it perfect from the start. You just sell whatever you have. Yeah. And then it works. It's like with, I don't know if Mac is the best idea, but like with Windows, for example, I sell the Windows. It's like, it's horrible. And then it got worse, but then it got better. So, and
yeah, actually there is this constant choices between doing things fast and taking the time to do things well. And this can be solved. Like you always have this friction between the two. And actually, for example, we could say, starting from restarting everything, we've been built this better. But actually, maybe we are there because we did that fast and not well. And it's really, and most people, when they imagine themselves in another scenario, they took out all the bad stuff that could happen. Like, if we'd have been that, we'd have done that. And it would have been better. But I mean, what about all the bad stuff that could have happened, in this scenario you imagine in your head, So, and actually we are paying the debt now. So this year is not about growth. It's about like structuring, delegating, building processes, recruiting. And actually I've learned more stuff this year in the plateau than in the 2 years before. So different business phases.
That's very interesting. And I'm actually curious, can we go back a little bit and can you talk me through like the stages of growth that you had, and if you can attribute any specific marketing channels or some effort that you used like at every step of those?
I mean, for me, when you get nothing, pre-product market fit and market fit. So pre-product market fit, you don't even say the word acquisition channel, because acquisition channel is when you have something to sell. Okay. So you just need to talk to people.
So post on LinkedIn, we can call it that.
You can you get to create interactions. So for that, LinkedIn is the best place if you want to build a B2B SaaS, because you can reach out to people doing inbound and outbound at the same time. So what I would recommend is talk to 100 people, and you don't automate anything. You send all connection requests and the messages manually, because you do things that don't scale. And you have to have a lot of one-to-one interactions.
And sorry, before 100 people, like would they fit your ideal client profile, or you have no idea still?
Actually, if you think you know what your ideal client profile is, for sure, you're mistaken. Because you have like this vision in your head. You're like, I have this idea of this product and I'm sure it's going to work because this. And you never confront your vision with reality yet.
Right.
Like when you think about it, it's kind of crazy. You have this in your head, you didn't talk to anyone and you think that will work. That's completely disillusional.
Yeah.
You have to, have the feedback from reality. And so I would say to like, just maybe have a vision. You have the right to have a vision, but just put it aside and just gather feedback with no prejudgment on things, and have a lot of one-to-one conversation. That is really important, because most people, they will want to launch on Product Hunt, but this is not one-to-one interaction. This is like market launch, and you are not ready for that yet because you don't know what you sell, you don't know who to sell to. So I would recommend to have 100 calls, and for that you can like prospect on LinkedIn. So you use the LinkedIn search, head of sales, head of HRs, I don't know. And you can also post on LinkedIn and have like, do you want this? Put a comment, and then you contact the people that have commented your post, and then you do calls with them. Yeah.
I really like this. It's like what I'm scared sometimes about is the opportunity cost. It's like you can be doing some sort of work for, say, I don't know, some low budget guys, like say I'm talking about like some agency stuff, right? So you can be an SEO agency for a local bakery service or an SEO agency for some enterprise type of client, and the amount you're gonna charge people is very, very different, but you'd be doing a similar kind of work. So in this case, I really like the way you said it, because for me, kind of, it got me thinking, because if you know your ICP, you are mistaken. So you really have to go and check out what's going on in the market, get some feedback and everything. I love it.
Yeah, because there are so much counterintuitive stuff in business. For example, this week, we on Evaboot, we deleted the free trial. There is no free trial on the tool. On 100% of SaaS businesses, there is a free trial. This week, we deleted the free trial. I was like, this is not going to work, man. Obviously, we have to have a free trial. Nobody will buy. Almost same money made.
Interesting.
This week.
But you don't have all this back and forth.
But in support, you only have the good people, serious people. You don't have all the people that use the freemium, that will try to bypass the limit, use the free trial 10 times, stuff like that, you know? And that was super counterintuitive.
I paid. Just say that
Thanks for your support, man.
Yeah, of course. I still have some unused credits, by the way. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, and there is a lot of counterintuitive truth you are going to find when you talk to people. Because actually, at the beginning, they know the problem better than you. And people that they think they have a vision, they think they know the problem better than their customers. And actually, when you start, you have to talk to people to a point that you super bored when you talk to them. It's like this is the 100 times I heard the same feedback. And at that point, you know the problem better than your customers. And if you reach the point that you teach your customer stuff, you know, they don't teaching things to you anymore. Now you're the most savvy guy in the room. And that's why you need these 100 calls, because you need to become the most savvy guy in the room. And once you're the most savvy guy, then you can start to build a product, because now you know the problem.
Mm-hmm. And go back to like this question, I don't think we fully covered it. So going back to the growth stuff. So you went to say from the first post on LinkedIn, this is the first stage, and then you go further. What is responsible for growth at these stages afterwards?
So
to these different levels, to like 10K to 90, I think you mentioned afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn prospecting, manual LinkedIn prospecting and LinkedIn post.
And what was your ideal client profile? What was your ICP, by the way?
Actually, we didn't know at the time.
Okay.
Because I like to think of clients with people with a desire, and not people with like a job title.
Okay.
And that's what we realized. If we look at the job titles now of our customers, it's like the job titles, we'll say like, why are you using the product?
All over the place,
like,
right?
There are people we would have thought about contacting these people. So that's why you got to focus on the intent and the desire to solve the problem, and not the ICP. And you got to take the list of people that have this pain, and then once you have that, you look at the ICPs, and then you try to find patterns, and then you use this pattern for your prospecting.
How do you find the desire then?
For example, LinkedIn post.
So
LinkedIn post. It's not you're not targeting people based on who they are. Yeah. You're targeting people on what they want, because they will see the post, it will create a desire, and then they will come on the post. And then, of course, you make assumption at the beginning, because if you start prospecting, you get to make assumptions. Yeah. So obviously, you also make assumptions. But the best way is to find, for example, places with people having a pain. For example, forums, Reddit, Quora, stuff like that, specialized growth forums in, for example, sales, marketing, Facebook groups, Slack channels, stuff like that, because this stuff gather people that want to solve a problem. And maybe, they hold head of sales, but that you get to forget a bit at the beginning. And if you realize that, then you can use the information in your prospecting. And then the thing is that the other channels, so manual prospecting, LinkedIn post, $0. But the thing is that ads, SEO, automated prospecting, this requires investment. So you need to be sure that it's worth the investment. So first you build your ICP with that process. You have your first clients, because you are not going to, for example, SEO, it takes time to build, you know it, right? You are not going to invest 6 months in SEO if you don't have a pre-product market fit. That makes no sense because all that efforts will be wasted. So I'd say to make prospecting and LinkedIn post up, like to 5K maybe, 5K ARR, maybe 10. Actually, we started SEO at 5, 6, 7, stuff like that. And it was quick wins. It was quick wins because we spotted like some keywords that was super transactional, meaning that people that writing that on Google are really likely to buy the product. For example, they were like export leads from Sales Navigator. That was a perfect keyword for us because that's what the tool is doing basically. So we just like created a blog post on that and then YouTube videos as well to get quick wins from SEO and YouTube. And then we've seen that working with quick wins. And then we decided to invest a lot then after. But only start like ads, SEO or automated prospecting if you have at least you feel that there is something, and that you don't test the market. That's what I mean. You don't test the market with SEO. You can test the market with ads if you have the budget because you can like maybe just throw $1,000 and see if people click on your ads. But if you have no money, LinkedIn is the best way to start.
Mm-hmm. Would you go into the communities right now as well? What you mentioned with Facebook or?
Actually, now we know the problem better than the customers. But if we want to develop a new feature, for example, we'll restart this cycle over.
Mm-hmm. So you would go to the communities and then see.
Because it's like launching a new product. If you're launching a new feature that is really different, basically that solves another problem. Yeah. If the feature you want to build solves another problem, and you are not expert of this problem, then you get to restart the problem discovery process we described.
Makes sense. Did you ever believe that you would get to this level where you are right now? Did you even think about it?
Yeah, manifesting. Yeah.
Were you manifesting?
This is an interesting question because it's not like, I don't know why 1 million ARR, it's not that I knew it, but it's more like I couldn't die without that.
So now you know you're going to live forever.
Yeah. Like, I felt like even forced to do it, I wanted it so bad, it could not happen, So I did everything I could to get there while enjoying the process. But believing is it's a big part of the thing, because it's
conceive, believe, achieve.
Yeah. I didn't know about this one.
I know about
it's great.
One. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Yeah, because there is an interesting topic is like for execution. For example, on execution, everyone talks about discipline. You get to be disciplined. But discipline is useful when you don't have enough desire to do something. And I like to think about it like the goal is to do stuff. It's not about discipline. Discipline is a tool. But if your desire is big enough, you don't need discipline. You don't need discipline to play video games. For example, if a child plays video games every day for 1 year, we can say he's really disciplined at playing video games. But him doesn't feel disciplined at all. Like he's just doing what he wants. So, and work on the desire. Like even like sometimes I just like visualize stuff and like, I really want to be there. And I want to increase my desire to be there, to reach that goal. And that creates energy during the execution because you are linking the small tasks and the small stuff that could be perceived boring to the big desire you have. And that way you don't need so much discipline. You need a bit. Probably discipline is more the safety net because sometimes you have no energy, no sleep, and you need that safety net to save you. But you don't reach amazing results because of a safety net.
It's like this. I don't remember if it was Malcolm Gladwell or somebody else's book. I read it like years ago. I still was in Spain at the time, 2011. And it was basically saying that it's almost like it's a muscle, right? So that's why people are more likely to say, eat a cake in the evening and, than in the morning, because in the morning you're still strong, you're motivated.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the day, you kind of deteriorate. So if you're counting on discipline, well, you're in the wrong place because it will not work for you at the end of the day. So you almost want to create these settings and these systems, these processes that you cannot not get to the goal that you want to get to, but you have to really desire this.
For example, Alex Hormozy, he did a video named "Fuck Your Morning Routine," you know, and I really liked it because it was like me. I wake up, I drink a coffee, and I start walking. I don't do meditation and stuff, you know. I don't take a cold bath. Me, I do that, by the way. I do meditation, cold shower, and the classic like starter pack, you know. I like it because it helps me get in the mood. So it's useful. I don't do it because it's written on a checklist somewhere. You know, I've experienced it, and I like the mood it puts me in. But for some, it's not like something you have to do. If you better like you wake up, coffee, work, do that. You know, not forced to take cold showers to to be efficient. But.
Yeah, you just look yourself in the mirror, go like, yeah, go,
Yeah.
go rock and roll. Yeah. So, going back to Evaboot real quick. So, can you actually share? And you mentioned this. You took out the free trial right now. So, what is the customer's journey right now? How does it look like? How do people sign up to Evaboot?
So actually, for us, what works the best is search. So all the search acquisition channels. So Google, YouTube, ads. Basically, we noticed that more than the half of the people, they buy the product on the day they sign up. So the purchase decision is pretty quick. So we have to be there when the desire is here. So, and the best way to do that is search. You're writing something, export leads from Sales Navigator. Bam, you click on first result, you sign up. The first result is good. Oh, you like it, you buy. And we tried top funnel stuff or more like social media stuff like TikTok, even LinkedIn. And it does not work so well for us because, you know, people, they are not, maybe they think about you, but they are not in a mood to buy right away. Maybe they will buy 3 months later. Mm-hmm. But for us, that works the best is like we hear when the desire is here. So we really focus on that.
It feels like the type of a service that you're like sitting there, you need to export this stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you go search for it and then you come out, oh, like cool tool. Okay, seems like legit. It's French. Okay, we'll still take it. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot, actually, I don't know why, but a lot of LinkedIn automation SaaS, they are French.
Yeah, I know. I want to ask you about this. It's so weird. It's like, let's kind of interrupt this. Like, what is going on? Like,
my theory is that French people, they like to work less after. We're pretty good at do a lot of work to be sure not to work later.
Afterwards, okay. Automate.
Yeah, automate stuff. And actually, you take Lemlist, you take Walaxy, you take us, you got Prospio también.
Bueno.
Oh, Spanish. And find email.
Canbox as well. I did the interview with the guys.
La Grosse Machine.
Break cool. Yeah.
LGM. A lot of stuff.
La Grosse Machine. You still owe me an interview.
Yeah?
Yeah, try again.
I will set up something.
Yeah, I say, but anyway, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I think there is
It's like a cluster. It seems like, is it possible that Guillaume Mabush, was it his name?
Mabush,
like the Lemlist, yeah. So he kind of started off this whole thing. Is it possible that he kind of became fashionable in a way, and then everybody kind of saw the example? And
yeah, actually, it was the first one to launch the software in English, communicate in English as well. And every time I see French people doing the SaaS business in French, you're like, why do you target 10% of the market? Like, just you translate everything in English and you multiply your customer base by 10, you know? Yeah. And actually, we have the data to prove that now because only 15% of our clients are French. And more than half are in the US. So actually, the SaaS business the SaaS market is a US market, India as well. And a lot of people have seen Lemlist succeed following that strategy. And even so, for us, it has been an inspiration because, like, okay, B2B, inbound, personal brand, and that's basically their stack. And that worked for us as well. So, yeah, definitely it was that pioneer in the field.
Yeah, so pioneer in yeah, it's so weird. It's like almost like there's this cluster, and it's like we almost have like this brand like made in Italy but made in France, you know, for the LinkedIn automation tools, which is really good.
Yeah, it was a good ecosystem, and you can right now that there are all these companies, we can help more founders to launch more companies in that field.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah, even more stuff.
Yeah.
More stuff is coming, guys.
I was going to ask you about like going back to the custom journey stuff. Is this something that you tried at the start, maybe, or maybe recently, that you thought would work, but it didn't work?
You mean an experiment that we've made and didn't work?
Yeah, maybe you
Yeah.
launched like ad campaign or tried something, maybe influencer stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Yeah, I did TikTok for 3 months.
You dance like
When I look at myself back, I'm like, I want to beat myself up, you know, like,
Slap.
what are you doing? This is not getting any clients.
Robin wasn't there. Did you see him? It was like just sit
He
down.
told me, like, you know, we're gonna see.
He knew.
We
He
saw
knew.
nothing.
I really wish he was here with the podcast. He would tell a lot of things. Like,
Yeah, because I mean that's part of the learning process. But my theory is that people, they're gonna see TikToks and then they're gonna transfer to the YouTube channels on the YouTube channel, and then on the YouTube channel they will see the tutorials, and then they will subscribe to Evaboot, which on the paper can work, but actually what I realized that the people that consume shorts and the people that consume 1 hour long YouTube videos, they're completely different people. There is entertainment and really learning, and the two don't communicate. The only field where that works is podcasts, because basically you see a small part of the podcast, and then you want to see the full podcast. So transition from TikTok to YouTube, that works. But for like LinkedIn prospecting tutorials, it's really hard to get, oh yeah, I'm interested in LinkedIn prospecting and be on TikTok and switch from TikTok to YouTube to watch a 1 hour long tutorial.
You're not getting off those drugs. No,
Yeah,
not this one.
I want more like football and
Yeah, and then all the other stuff. Cooking, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so we completely wasted 3 months doing that. So that was
I want to go on TikTok right now.
a neat load of money. Because we are SaaS business in a niche. But if you're, for example, selling like, boot camps or service business is pretty good because you get to people like your brand, personal brand, and you can communicate about your expertise. And that's great because that is likely to convert.
On TikTok?
Yeah, because on TikTok, I received a lot of messages like, oh, do you do coaching? Do you do consulting? That I had. But product?
I should go on TikTok.
Zero. Yeah, I mean, if you sell services, that's,
Yeah, I'm going to, yeah.
That's a great acquisition channel for these people, not us. Maybe we try later, but...
When you start selling college, exactly.
Maybe we didn't try it hard enough also, but...
No, I don't think so. 3 months,
I don't know.
I think it's enough. Anything else, like you tried and it was a complete flop, or worked a little bit, but you weren't really happy with it? Influencers at all? Like, did you go into like, I don't know.
Everything that is not search. So basically, LinkedIn worked really well at the beginning, but it was not a scalable channel for us because it's really hard. People, they want emotional stuff on LinkedIn. And if you just communicate on like really super precise tutorial, it's hard to be consistent and post like 1 time a day And me, I don't want to take a selfie and say, oh, today I met this person in the street and I realized that, and I don't like this.
It made me think
about
scraping LinkedIn.
Yeah, you get, you get to scrape Sales Navigator. Yeah. So it's really hard to make the link between the two.
It's like these posts, right? It's like, I proposed to my girlfriend today, and this made me think about...
Yeah, I've seen that. Awful, man. But the thing is that the pattern we realize is more better new. So if you got something working, you got to be more than that, and then you have to do that better. And when you have like maximized these channels, you do other channels. Because we were doing TikTok, and SEO was at 30% of this potential. We didn't launch ads, which was a much more relevant channels. And and it's like it's the shiny object syndrome is like, and especially when you are stagnating.
Yeah, I was going to go there.
Because TikTok were just right after that. Oh, we are stagnating. We need another acquisition channel. No. You need to do same thing, but better.
Yeah.
So
you started looking inside, and then...
Yeah, I fall in the trap. I tell all the people to avoid in podcast. I won't tell I'm smarter than other people. I fell into
tell
it.
you fellas, you should be. Tell me a little bit about the inside of the company now and the hiring process, because there's this saying, hire slow, fire fast. So was it the same with you? How did it look like? If you can share this information, of course.
So actually, we've been pretty lucky with hiring because every time I've hired someone for now. This was like one shot, super good people. Well, for most of them. Then for like
Don't jinx it.
yeah, but like for the agency that does our backlink for SEO, is pretty great. We have the Bubble developer now, is great, and because I mean there was some there are friends or really obvious experts in their fields, but we had some bad experiences with agencies because we didn't have a process to hire them. And actually this year we took a lot of time to build the hiring process. We book a consultant for that helped us a lot. And we defined the values of the company, then we defined the profiles of the candidate that we want. From that profile, we built some interview questions. Then we are building now an onboarding process and an offboarding process. What are the conditions on which we fire you, for example? And have all that super clear, because hiring the wrong people, there are two costs. There is the cost of them not being efficient, and there are the opportunity costs not to have hired someone good, because people, they often forget about the opportunity cost. But if you do something, it doesn't work. So first, it doesn't work, but you could have done something that worked. So you
lose twice.
It's a double loss. It's not only one loss. So hiring super slow. I'd recommend. Yeah.
So how many people have you got right now?
So for now we have, so we don't have employees yet.
Okay.
But we have full-time freelancers.
That's crazy. So you actually have okay.
Actually, the first person that we recruit was the full-time, was the Bubble. It was not even full-time. Full-time is like in December here.
Right.
A content writer that write SEO post for us. But
wow.
we actually we reached 2 million ARR just being like
that's crazy.
Two founders.
We should have mentioned it earlier. Yeah. It's so cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, because like SaaS is really scalable, and if you're two really skilled people, you can go really far.
Yeah.
But then we reach this plateau, and we know that we reach this plateau because we have to share the money now. we can pay everything for ourselves. We have to recruit. We have to delegate to people that are smarter than us and do things better than us.
Is it hard to find people that are smarter than yourself?
Yeah. Lots, man.
Yeah. It's just a few of those out there.
I think there are like 10 on the planet.
Yeah. Pretty much. And 9 of them already in Tesla, SpaceX, and all that.
Yeah, actually, for example, the content writer, ODB was like, you have this ego thing, or you are afraid to delegate, and it's going to be really hard for people to do as much as me, the same quality, but actually you destroy your ego. It's pretty easy to do my work. Yeah, and your ego is attached to it because, for example,
it's your baby, yeah.
If you attach your value as a human being to the quality of your work, you want your work to be hard, to be complex. And for example, if you delegate that to someone and someone said, it's super easy to do your work, your value and your ego is suffering because your value has decreased. Yeah. So you have to detach yourself from the ego to be able to delegate. And
was it hard for you at the start, like detaching yourself from what you've done so far?
I was pretty emotionally involved in the thing. And I was like, I'm good at SEO. Bam. I'm good at this thing. And actually now that I see the content writer we have that is doing like the same quality of article as me, I'm like, no, you are not good. You follow good rules, you follow a good system, and anybody can follow that system. Right. And right now we are really trying to extract ourselves from the business. So the business has to be good by itself, not because there are great founders. Great founders need to build great systems, and people within this great system are to, make this system works. But actually, a company should work like with anyone, with enough skills, with the right skills. But right now we are really trying to make people like switchable, including us. And that takes detaching from the ego and looking at your company with an exterior point of view, kind of. And by doing that, you're much better. Because you're not, for example, if you are in charge of SEO and SEO is not working, you have to reflect on yourself. So, maybe I'm not that good. But if it's not you that is in the system, you look at the system, you say, this is not good. So you get to improve, or in 6 months, we got to change from head of SEO. But it's really hard to fire yourself.
Yeah, isn't it? It's pretty hard.
So if you succeed to extract yourself from the business, you can really look at the business as a system and then like cast out of all the emotion, all the ego, and simply look at it as a machine with percentage figures and just like this. And people you look at them and people taking care of the system, you know. And I think, and that's what we are trying to achieve right now. And I think when we'll be done with that, it would be great. Yeah, that's the goal.
It reminds me, I had this, it was a conversation I had like maybe 2 years ago with this entrepreneur, very traditional business, like a local city kind of supermarket chain. He mentioned this was exactly the step. He's older, so he's mentioned the step that he's taken. You know, he left the company basically and had someone else doing this, basically becoming the CEO of the whole thing. And he was like, "Well, you know, I have to tell you, it's become much better. And not just like emotionally, like for his psychological state, but just on paper, it's just they grew like tremendously because the person just knows what they're doing, and it's been great." So he's like, yeah, I'm onto something new right now. I am an entrepreneur, exactly what you do. Yeah, just set it all up and then leave, just go.
It's interesting because if that guy had a big ego, he would have been like offended by this, you know, like, he's making way better than me. I can stand that, you know, and maybe put some stick in the wheel to that guy. I don't know, but you know, with egos, a lot of stuff can happen, you know. So yeah, you have to really be emotionally detached from the business. And I think this is better for your mental health as well, because if you link your own value to your business, if your business go down, you feel like shit. And if it's doing great, you feel great. But the downside of that is that if your business is not working, you feel less as a human.
As a man.
As a man, yeah.
As a man.
Yeah, so you detach. And look, no, this is the system I've built. This is not me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you feel like overall, like a lot of founders have this thing, like the ego thing going on, or?
Yeah, I think if you start, obviously, if you start a business, you want some kind of validation at one point because you're doing something and you want people to. It's really a human thing to do something, and you want to look at people and look at it and say, "Oh, this is great. You're good. You're good." You're good. Yeah, you know, like this. Yeah. So it's part of human experience like this, and you can't like completely delete that and say it's impossible. But you have to be aware of it. And for example, with the TikTok thing,
right?
For example, then I realized it was a bit me wanting to communicate and add like this TikTok channel and add this personal brand a bit too. It wasn't like completely rational business decision, you know.
Right.
So you get to be aware of ego, aware of your desire for validation as well, because that will lead you to take wrong decisions.
It's like I imagine the difference between like a novice, say entrepreneur, successful one. You look in the mirror, you're like, yeah, man, you're so good. But then as you progress, you know, maybe you start another business and another one and another one. You kind of you detach yourself from like this ego component. So, but you know, by the time you have fifth successful business, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, you're good.
So it still comes back.
Yeah. You still got it, but it's not like, yeah, so good.
I'm so good at not having an ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah. But yeah, this is like, and I think once you master that skill, you can go really far. You can go really far. You can really scale, because if a company don't need you, then the potential of scale is huge.
Yeah.
Because you just have to launch people in the right direction, launch the right system, you know, and then you can scale it infinitely. By the way.
So now talking about this, we're in the right moment. I want to play a game with you. So I'm saying, like, close your eyes and imagine that you're just starting out. You have no audience and no one knows you. Like, it's even worse than now. Then you have $2,000 available. So how do you build a SaaS with, say, 10K MRR to get there? What do you do? Like, I want step by step.
Actually, this is what we've done, so I can repeat the story.
No, given the current market situation, if it hasn't changed, it's good.
If I
like right now, you're doing
right
this
now.
now. Yeah, nobody knows. Like, everything is offline. Like, you have your YouTube channel, no SEO, no website, no nothing. Like, what do you do? And LinkedIn is in the current state, so not in the wild west of LinkedIn when it was like you post something and then 50,000 and then everybody comments.
I mean, I will take the $2,000, give it to a friend, and tell him, give them to me if I really, really, really need it. Because I will ask for them. I will say I will need it, but I won't really need it. I will want to bypass stuff to go a bit faster. I know this is hard. I want money to go faster, But as I said, you get to feel every step of the way.
Okay, you want to play hard, extra hard level. Okay, let's do
I
this.
get to feel the pain, and you get to. If you just have 2,000, some people will say, oh, you just spend 2,000 on ads and you see what happens, to explore the market. But actually, you can explore the market without that. And actually, for me, 2,000 is like nothing actually, because 2,000 you don't do anything great with 2,000. You can maybe buy some tools, but even to test ads, it's more like 10K or stuff like that, So for me, in that case, I will assume that I have almost nothing. Maybe I would take that money to eat,
Yeah, there's a cafe with
to survive.
A croissant
or baguette. Yeah, baguette.
You eat like this?
Baguette every day, man. One baguette makes 3 days if you cut it. So.
Yeah.
And
French cuisine,
so like that. But actually, what I've not mentioned is that it's good to be in that survival mode. It's kind of radical point of view, but for me it's better like to have no money at all, because you trigger the survival mode. For example, I quit my job, and I quit so I didn't have the unemployment fees for my past employers, because if you get that in France, you get like 80% of your salary during 1 year. So wow. It's amazing the safety you have.
Yeah. I heard like you can get a certain level, and then they cannot hire you like lower than that at something as well. Do they have something like this?
I don't know, but you're really protected.
Yeah.
I kind of forget the system now because it's been 3 years we are not in that. But yeah, you can it's amazing like the safety you have, and you have a big comfort zone with that. And they made a study, and it's amazing because for example, the companies in France, they start to grow when the unemployment fees, the deadline of the unemployment fees arrives. And when people feel that, oh shit, in 3 months I will have no more money from the state. And now they start working. Yeah. So better have this day one,
It makes sense, right? Yeah. It's like maybe you can have like a month of a holiday or something, but then...
Yeah, because the body is capable of so much things we are not aware of. And the energy...
We'll get to that. I really want to get there.
Yeah, the energy you can release when you are in survival mode is amazing. Like, I remember I had no employment fee, so I decided to go freelance with my past employer just to have the minimum. And I was like, I need money to eat, And when you have that, you're kind of like, oh no, I don't know if I want to send these 100 messages. I feel tired today. I have to send these 100 messages, otherwise I won't eat next month. So you don't ask yourself like, I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood.
Go really low to physiological levels. But we'll talk about this. So talk to me again, like so with the SaaS, you have no money now. So what do you do? Like your first, 5 steps or 10 steps?
Actually, I would do the process I described, like LinkedIn post, manual LinkedIn prospecting. Then you see a beginning of product market fit. The only thing I would change is I would probably launch a SaaS in AI, because and I think it's a great time. And you got the huge advantage is like you can build with AI from scratch. And that is the completely underestimated stuff when people begin, is that, for example, now we feel it. When you need to change the code, it takes a lot of time because you get to take into account all the architecture of the code. It takes a lot of time to switch stuff. For example, switch from like implementing ChatGPT in all the steps of the business, it takes time. But if you, from day one, you build everything with ChatGPT, then you have a huge competitive advantage on your competitors. And you can build the things, because if your competitors were in your place, they would do that. They would start everything off with ChatGPT. And some of them do. It's a big risk. It takes like courage to do that. But some of them do. They restart everything over with AI. But I would like definitely implement AI inside the business. So for example, my LinkedIn posts, I will like generate tons of LinkedIn posts like this with ChatGPT. For my prospecting messages, I will generate tons of prospecting messages and maybe A/B test all of them, stuff like that. Maybe ChatGPT to analyze data as well. So tell me, who is my persona based on this data, etc. And you can get really creative. And so inside the business and for the product you are selling as well. So, B2B SaaS is huge. Like it's really a red ocean. It's a red ocean. So you have a lot of competitors, but there is room for everybody because there are, I think maybe 10% of the market is aware that they can scrape LinkedIn, they can automate their prospecting sequences. That seems obvious to us because we are in that field and we know all the tools really well. But some people, they find Evaboot, and before there was copy pasting, going on every profile, copy the name, paste it into an Excel file, and that's for 100 profiles per day.
Yeah.
And like
monkey business, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like this. Yeah.
It comes from this. There's this thing called buyer's pyramid. It came from Chet Holmes, who was an American author and the sales coach. And basically, every time he was on stage, he would like randomly ask people, like, "Are you looking to buy new tires right now?" And certain people, like certain amount of people, raise their hands. "Are you looking to go to the dentist right now?" A certain amount raise their hands. And then through this process, like empirical stuff, like observation, he discovered that there's 3% generally, more or less, of the market that are aware of the problem and they're looking to solve it right now. So they're looking for solutions. So the rest of the market is like 7%, I think it was 7%. They're aware of the problem, but they're not still looking for the solution. And then the rest of them, like they think that they don't need the solution, like all this other market. So it's like, yeah, you're really hunting. Like once you understand these things, you understand why people are like, oh, he's in the Excel. He hasn't arrived to the state that, oh, maybe it's something there's out there that I can find that will make my life easier.
Yeah, that's why I like search as acquisition channel, because you are in this 3%.
Yeah,
you get these 3%, and then the 7% would be more like LinkedIn posts about B2B. But people that are ready to buy, it's better to get them with search. But you can get them with search right away because it requires investment. So you get to more be like in this 7% and contact them on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So that's what you would do. So basically you do prospecting, outbound, LinkedIn stuff to get to this
outbound.
initial
For
level.
me, you want to create conversations with people that have the problem in the B2B space. So obviously, you send messages. You reach out to people. You create conversation. You create calls. You gather more information. Then the only thing that changed between when we launched and now, honestly, is AI. And apart from that, the method we described can be followed.
And going back to the early days of Evaboot when you joined Robin, is there anything that maybe you would do different or you do earlier to get to the result that you're at right now? Well, except for not doing TikTok, of course.
TikTok, definitely we would avoid that. But it's really hard to answer that question because I don't know if in another scenario, maybe bad things would have happened, as I told you. Yeah. So TikTok, we definitely lost time. I think right now we are experimenting a lot on pricing. And I think we should have done that earlier. Like, okay, let's delete the free trial. Let's try pay as you go. Let's try to delete that subscription. Let's double the prices, Because when you begin, you don't have a lot of clients, so you can experiment that a lot without having, oh, you can do that, without offending too much your...
Ahrefs is getting a lot of his heat right now.
But actually, when you get hate, is a good point because people feel frustrated. You created frustration. It means that there is a strong desire here, and you put a door, and people are upset. So actually, it means that there is desire. So it's actually a pretty good sign
for the SaaS.
Yeah, for the SaaS. Okay. Yeah, if you got upset people, if you got the best thing,
tell me,
is to have upset people with no money. Because if you look at the people that are upset and you see that they have no budget, it means that the people with budget, they will buy. Because it's simply that if you have no money, you feel frustrated because you don't have the money to buy it, so you feel frustrated. But if you have the money to buy it, you just buy it.
Yeah.
So it's actually a good sign if people like, for example, we did a free trial, and some people are like, you should have a free trial. This is scandalous. Yeah. So I look at the profile and I see, not serious. And most of the people that buy, I see, okay, structured companies with budgets. Yeah. So that's the way to select.
I get it from the founder's perspective. It's like obviously you want to maximize basically earning potential. So that means that getting less pressure on infrastructure while generating as much money as possible. So of course there'll be people that are unhappy. And that's the thing. I actually wanted to ask you about this. Ahrefs, they have this. They introduced this credits. It was a long time ago. This credit system when you like do a report and then the credit disappears. What do you think about the system? It seems to not be like being very liked by people, even the ones that have the budget, because it's so easy to kind of lose it, and the way it works is also a little bit funny at times.
Yeah, I mean, if they tried it and they still have it 6 months later, it thinks that it increased revenue. And I think we are, and if you maybe feel frustrated with that, it means that you are not 100% the persona they are targeting. And I think, because if they keep doing it, they won't do something that is not working for 1 year. So if you feel frustrated by something and they're still doing it, for example, if we keep maybe we're gonna reinstall the free trial maybe in 1 month to make another test. But if someone gets on our tool and sees there is no free trial, 6 months later, no free trial, it means that it works for us and the revenue increased. So, and you are not ICP. Maybe if you go find another tool. And I try to be really gentle with people. I'm like, I'm sorry if you feel frustrated. I think if you feel frustrated, you are not the clients we target. But there are a lot of great tools you can use. And I send competitors that does free trial. And you got to be really, because what is playing here is FOMO. You want everything. You will make bad decision because you want any client. And that's something to be aware of. You have to, once you have a pre-product market fit, you have to be aware. Look at your first clients and just try to reproduce that. And maybe you will have clients that will churn 2 months later, and analyze your churn and say, okay, these clients stop working because there is good and bad churn. For example, 50% of the churn is people just saying, oh, it was great, but I don't need this anymore. So that's this kind of type of churn. It's not like because of bad product, it's because of features. We need to have more features and to create more stickiness for the product. Then you have people that were not aware of really what we are providing. Like they are extracting a list of, for example, chiropractors from LinkedIn and say, I didn't find the emails. LinkedIn is the worst place to find emails from medical staff people. You get to find specialized databases. So and that's the cost of inbound, because with inbound you attract a lot of people, but you attract anyone. Without the control on prospecting, you select your clients. So be aware that, okay, so maybe it's a problem of feature, maybe it's a problem of targeting, because you are bringing people that are not ICP. And then you have the trend that is, your product is bad and that you have to fix it for the product.
Makes sense. So we've spoken about Evaboot in particular, and I'm sure we'll get back to it now. I wanted to talk to you more about the SaaS world itself, and we touched it as well while going over it. So if you were doing a SaaS startup right now, SaaS product, the niche you would look into is the AI. Anything in particular to do with AI itself?
So first I would like I said, like problems before, and then maybe find it a way to solve it with AI, because there is a huge chance that will be more efficient, and you will have this sexy trend effect that will play on people for sure. But you got to use that as a marketing stuff, play with it, amplifier. But being aware that you are playing with it, with the sexy trend thing, and that's not being fooled by it. For example, in SEO, so we are automating a lot of SEO now. So there are a lot of SaaS to launch in SEO.
Of course, in six months or so.
I won't tell too many stuff. But you can automate content creation, you can automate content analysis, you can automate backlinks finding, you can automate a lot of stuff, basically. Because SEO is a lot of data analysis. And if you think about it, all the humans that are employed now to do data analysis, there are a lot of jobs. So, for example, consultant. I think in 50 years, consultant, I don't believe they're, companies like, EY or stuff like that. I think like most of the people, they will be replaced by AI because...
I hope so.
Basically.
I tell you what, I have
because they're too expensive.
No, I have this. It's like my mom, she's telling me, it's like, I really hope that you would go and find a job and like doing this consulting stuff, like in AI, in AI. So I really hope they go down. So I can tell them,
to prove your mom, you're right.
Mom, I was like, I knew from the start, it's like all this...
Yeah, but I guess there are a lot of really smart people there, so obviously they will adapt. But I think the quantity of people employed by this company will really decrease, because one consultant with AI will do the job of 10 consultants. That for sure. Another thing that is data analysis to make a decision. SEO is what? SEO. If you do the manual process of SEO, you look at the top 5, you look at the titles, you look at the content, then you're gonna copy a lot of content, then you're going to add your specific knowledge to it. That an AI can do. look at other articles, look at the titles, take the best titles, put that into our content, and then you can add your personal knowledge to it. But that's something you can automate. Prospecting as well, like finding, for example, there is a use case that is really used right now is to find icebreakers.
Mm-hmm.
So the icebreaker is a little sentence that you send at the beginning of your messages.
The first line, yeah.
You can like give LinkedIn profiles to the AI and they will produce icebreakers. Everything that is automating brainstorming or content creation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because brainstorming is hard, and I recently find out that the value of AI is to reduce the time to action. For example, before when I started a new post on SEO, I was like, oh, I need to write this new post. Okay, I will look at the articles. Right now, I do AI. I have a first draft. Okay, this yes, this no. And actually, the brainstorming phase and the preparation to action phase is compressed by AI because it's really hard to create from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really easy to judge AI's works and say, oh, I can do better than that here. Oh, this is great. I will keep that.
So you judge AI.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
it's really judgmental.
When it's going to convert into something more,
going to kill me.
It's going. Yeah. do you like? There are some people, and I'm myself like that sometimes. Where are you being nice to AI? Like,
no,
it's like, hello, how are you today?
No, it's good because you
just in case, just to be like future-proof yourself.
Me,
he's a good human. This is a bad human. We'll
we put him on a blacklist.
Exactly. Yeah. The first humans to go list. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit radical on this because. So obviously it's really important to be nice with people in social life, but in business, I don't like to be hello, hope you are doing well today, and I have a lot of stuff like this. I like to come with Robin and with our freelancers. We're gonna make it super direct.
But you're also French. It's like.
Oh man, the French emails. Have you ever read a French email?
Tell me. I think the way you responded to my emails, it was in French, but you translated it to English. So
the French emails are the worst because there is this of value and this of fluff. Man.
All right, okay.
It was like, in English we got best regard, but the French version of best regard is this size.
Okay. Okay.
Like this. Actually, you lost. For example, it's pretty easy. You take all the time you spent writing this stuff during all the year.
Yeah.
I think you lost 1 week.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so I like to be really clear. For example, with Robin, we know that we don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to send that to people if we have not made this agreement before. So for example, when we recruit someone, we say, we communicate like this because on the work, we like to be super direct. And after that, we do after work and we have fun.
Yeah.
But during the work, we're like, this is not working. Can you fix it, please?
Yeah.
Hey, hope you are doing well today. I've been to here and I've noticed that it's not working really well. Could you please fix this? And fix it. Just fix it.
Fix it now.
You don't think, you have to talk me better than that. You have to respect me more. Yeah. First, we build like, we state like, okay, in this company, we communicate in a direct manner. When there is a problem, we say, there is a problem, fix it. And you can do the same thing with us. You have to install that, structure. And once you have that, you're much more efficient.
It's
but
like
not in personal life.
No, of course. Personal life, you have to almost like switch the languages.
You got to lie. You got to do the work.
Because if you start talking to somebody, it's like, yo, tonight we go this place. I don't know. It's like,
for example, someone is showing the picture of a baby and you say, no, it's ugly.
You cannot do these things.
Because most of the times they are ugly. Yeah, let's not lie.
All the time. Like 99.9. It's like, we have to be on. Like, I'm from Russia, so I can say these things. So
you guys are really direct as well.
Yeah, we can do these things. And I really like now going back to the subject. So AI, like you gave us some examples of what sort of industries, niches would you go into this stuff with AI to have it as an amplifier effect. Are there any, and I really like the examples again. So they're really, really like simple problems that you would solve, which have tremendous impact. Yeah, in like the first lines, for example, or like these SEO bits, and I'm sure there'll be something more specific if you have a bit more time to think about it. Are there any red flags that you would kind of consider before you check out the industry or the niche and be like, no, I'm not going there?
It would be like, am I using AI to use AI, or am I solving a problem? Could I solve this problem without AI? If it's yes, it's good.
And would you look at the competitors at all, like the market? Do you care who's
No.
got the market share? No, nothing.
I think in B2B business, it's a red ocean. Yes, it means that there is a lot of competitors on the market, but the market is so huge you don't even have to to take care of that. You can watch, maybe go on the support, talk to your competitors, see what they are doing bad, talk to your competitors' clients to see why they are disappointed. That's interesting. For example, a use case we recommend to people a lot is to scrape LinkedIn company pages followers from competitors. You extract all of that with Evaboot, of course, and then you just reach out to them and say, "Are you happy with this product?" Simple. Are you happy with Evaboot? Say yes, no. Why? Yes, because they do that. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. No, because they don't do that. Oh, we're gonna do that as well.
Yeah.
And you do your market research just like this. But like checking every week what our competitors are doing. If you are looking for product market fit, you don't have competitors yet because you don't exist. So don't think you have competitors. You are not a company yet. And you say like, oh, they are competitors. They do 10 millions. You do nothing. You are not competitors. You are nothing to them. You don't exist.
Yeah.
So first you get to prove.
Point. I like this. I like this. Talking about building a SaaS product itself, would you say that building a SaaS product with like thinking that you would be selling it in the future is a good way to build a SaaS product, or how do you approach these things? What's the exit strategy, if there is anything? Like, how do you see this?
For me, the good thing about bootstrapping is that a company that makes a lot of profit will be valuable. So you can play the resale game and the profit game at the same time, actually, because investors depend on the kind of investors. But if you are doing 70% margin, if you are doing like 5 million ARR, yeah, you will attract investors. But if you don't attract investors, you will have all these dividends for yourself too. So yeah, that's my point of view of things. And for me, in B2B, B2B, B2C is really different. For example, it's really hard to bootstrap a B2C company. Like, I don't know bootstrap B2C companies. It's super hard. You get to be super viral on social media, but most of them, they will just raise 100 million and put everything on ads or partnership. And but in B2B, you can create your network, create conversations, and you can actually, for example, Lemlist is a good example. You have 25 million ARR right now, fully bootstrapped. Or they sell. So if you want to like reduce the risk and get a bit of money, you can always resell some of your shares. So that's what Lemlist did. They sold 30% of the company for 30 millions, and every founder took 10 million home. And they continue leading the company after that. So they de-risk the company, took a bit of cash. That way, I guess you have enough cash to not worry about the future, and you unlink your financial stability and your company. You have 10 million. You can take more risk with that. So that could be a way to step to your next phase. But actually, if you're a first-time founder, if you have no network, I guess it's better to bootstrap.
So if you're like asking this question, it's so if you were to start over again, would you bootstrap or find an investor? I guess the answer is pretty clear in this case.
Yeah, bootstrap. I mean, anyway. Yeah, because actually, if we're not like we will never raise fund, we will never sell the company. Like, just like can be a good opportunity. Like, just respond to good opportunities. Actually, you can get pretty creative. Sell some of your shares, sell whole your company. You can also, if nobody wants to buy you, you can just hire a CEO and have it run, take your dividend home like every year. Yeah. So you get pretty creative. First, make the company work. Then you think about that. Yeah.
Actually, that's something I read like 2 days ago or something. And I'm curious if you heard of it. It was in the Netherlands. And I'm not sure if it's some law or something that came out. Something popped up in my feed on LinkedIn because I had somebody from Netherlands I did an interview with. And there was this law about like that they almost like scraping into some illegal activity or something. So it become really So like EU is kind of seemingly going into this direction with this move. So I don't know if you're aware of this stuff or no, but I'm curious because it's like this is a little bit like, in a way, I don't want to say gray area, because like do you feel like it can be also an effect, or
So there are two different things at play here. There are like GDPR, European GDPR, and the version of GDPR in other countries. And they are the website that have been scraped. They are conditions, the terms of use. So actually, what we do is we automate what a super motivated person could do. For example, if you hire someone, you say, "I want you to copy paste 1,000 names today in this Excel file." He can do it. It's possible. And scraping is just automating that. So as long as this does not do 10 times more than a human, for me it's good. And that's why LinkedIn and the limits that are set by LinkedIn are these ones. It's like the scraping limit is fixed. It's like what a motivated human being could do. Because if they put too much security, they will decrease the user experience. And for example, last year they banned a lot of accounts that did no automation on them. Just super motivated people doing a lot of manual activities.
This behavioral stuff. I spoke to the founder of Linked Helper 2, and he was telling me exactly this. He's like, a lot of like LinkedIn is actually doing this behavioral stuff as well. So if you open too many tabs, if you do that sort of stuff, especially given the account maybe maturity and account like follower account, like whatever the factors are, it can easily trigger this this restriction on the account itself. So it's not like just the tools itself that they make it go bananas, but it's just the behavioral activity that is a highly motivated person, as you call it. Exactly. Yeah.
But the key question is, do you help them to make money? If you help LinkedIn to make money, they will like you. If you take money for yourself, they won't like you. For example, us, we help LinkedIn in two ways. So we sell Navigator to people. We sell Sales Navigator to people. We say, go take Sales Navigator because we need Sales Navigator. Our product only works with Sales Navigator. So we need people to first buy Sales Navigator and then Evaboot. So we spend our day selling Sales Navigator. So obviously, it's good for LinkedIn. And the second thing is that we improve the user experience for these LinkedIn users because they hate LinkedIn less because they don't have to copy paste and stuff. And actually we improve the user experience on LinkedIn. And the third thing, which is not so obvious, is that we help them compete with their biggest competitors. Because, for example, the biggest competitor of LinkedIn, of Sales Navigator in the US is ZoomInfo. And on ZoomInfo, you can build lead lists and you can also extract these leads into an Excel file, and you can also find the emails. But you can't do that natively on Sales Navigator because LinkedIn is a social network. ZoomInfo is a B2B database company. So, for example, if Sales Navigator wanted to be like ZoomInfo, they should have to write in their term of use, oh, by the way, anyone can download your data at any time. Do you agree with that?
Not happening.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They want to take that risk.
I see.
But they want third-party tools to do that for themselves so that they can compete with ZoomInfo and everything else. So that's why I'm pretty confident on the... Because everyone...
Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't believe that they will like shut down all the extensions. Obviously, I am skin in the game here, so my belief is, guided by my emotions a bit. But there is a lot of rational stuff that makes this decision really bad. For example, if LinkedIn doesn't stop allowing scraping, tomorrow they lost half of their clients on Sales Navigator because most of their Sales Navigator clients, they use Sales Navigator to extract the data. And Sales Navigator is like 1.5 billion, I guess. So do you want to lose 700 millions of turnover? I don't think so.
Not happening. Oh, I really like this. Thank you for sharing about the thinking process because it's important to understand. It's like there are rules, but like what is actually going on there behind the
money
scenes as well. The money.
Always follow the money.
Just follow the money. No, it's a good one. Beautiful. So I actually I met Judith Goenka, a LinkedIn top voice and a serial SaaS founder and angel investor back in 2022. I was back in Bali at the time, so we caught up for like a coffee. And he told me something along these lines. When growing a SaaS in first year, you need to focus on growing customer base. So you need to use ads basically. So he was talking about ads at the time. Maybe they had some founding, or maybe he had something from previous times. And then in the second year, it's all about SEO. So would you agree with this view?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the budget, like I said, if you want to test the market and you have a lot of budget and experience with ads, you can use ads to test the market, because basically you are going to bid on transactional keywords. For example, if I take our use case, export leads from Sales Navigator, with budget at the time, what we could have done is put some ads on it and see if people buy it. But that would assume the landing page will have the right message, the proposition value will be interesting, the product is the right one. So, before that, there's a lot of work, because it's not like you build a shitty product, shitty value proposition, then you put ads and you sell. You are scaling your sale. Basically, you have something that works, and you say, we're going to show this thing that works with with 2 people, we're going to show it to 100 people, and we expect that the conversion rate will be the same. But before, it's like I make a really shitty sandwich, and I say, who wants to eat my sandwich? Like, no, your sandwich is shit.
Yeah.
So first, before advertising your sandwich, you make a good sandwich. So that's why I would say you do ads when you have a good product.
I see. So first you have to actually go. You cannot miss this part. You cannot skip the part of you have to go and talk to people and have this conversation with people. You cannot really skip that part.
I mean, people, they want to make money without talking to people. But at the end of the day, people like taking money in their pocket,
Right.
and they are giving that money to you because you provide value.
Yeah.
So at one point, you get to talk to these people, to understand them.
When talking about a SaaS in general, like I'm sure you look through. I'm not so sure if you look through many other SaaS, like any other companies, like just if you know about them. Like you mentioned some of them, but I don't know if you actively.
The French ones. So I'm talking with them. Okay. Then I follow some of them. That I'm not like. I don't follow SaaS news or stuff like that. So.
My question was like, well, say if you're on the product hunt, checking it out, I don't know if you do, but like say you're looking at a SaaS, and then can you tell if it's if a SaaS has a potential or it will most likely flop?
Most of the time, the more boring it is, the more likely it is to succeed. Because, for example, people that make glasses. Nobody wants to make glasses. Oh no, glasses can be fun. We get to find something more boring than that. Something pretty boring.
Matches.
Yeah, stuff like that. And actually, this is like really core human needs, but it's not as sexy as other stuff. So you get basically you got less competition because people, they want to do the sexy stuff, but you have a huge demand. So on the market and on the sexy markets, you have huge competition and not a lot of demand because it's just something that is new. So if I see a SaaS that solves a problem only for chiropractors in this country, like it proves that they made a research and they find a niche.
Mm-hmm.
If you say like, we do AI, research time, 0. Because the more precise it is, the more research have been made on it. It's like, and it means that the founders are maybe more serious, more focused on the details. So if I don't understand it right away, if I like, what is that thing? I don't get it. And I have to dig a bit, that's a good sign. If I this is AI stuff, generation, okay, I got it. Mm-hmm. It's really likely that 10 company like that will be launched, in the future. Right. If to sum up, it has to be niche, like that you address a niche. If it's too broad, general features, general audience, like it's simple saying, like if you target everybody, you target nobody, really. So yeah, that's what I would judge.
Makes sense. Looking back into like in your life, is there any like cringiest tech fad that you supported at the time? Again, except TikTok. With your case, in your specific case.
Me, I don't follow trends so much, so I don't look at the news. I don't the business news. I don't look at them. I don't look at my LinkedIn feed. I have something that block my LinkedIn feed. So actually, I don't consult any information.
You're breaking LinkedIn's terms of service. You know this. You're using some tool that interact.
Yeah, me, I block everything about Instagram feed, Twitter feed, YouTube feed. I only want to have in front of my eyes the thing that I search for.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have, today you have two ways of consuming information you search for and information that is put to your face, you know. And I think that the information that is put in front of your face is useful, I think, 10% of the time. Maybe you learn that there is like a storm in your city and you have to you have to get out.
You're outside all alone. There's nobody. Like, okay.
But usually this news, they will reach you out by your friends. So me, I use my friends to get the important news. So if my friends tell me something, that it's really important news.
You filter out.
Yeah.
Good.
But what was the question at the beginning?
The cringiest fad that you maybe followed in the past. Or supported, you were like pushing it forward. Like we all should do TikTok, all the B2B founders.
Maybe I'm in one right now because I'm tracking my sleep with that.
Is it what it does?
Yeah,
I was like
Oura Ring, it calls.
Crazy.
Maybe it will disappear in 1 year. Anyway, everyone will say it's dumb.
So are you sleeping right now, or is it? Is it tracking?
It's my AI clone. Right?
Okay. You just disappear, like that's out.
Yeah, actually, because for me there is one thing is like, if you
actually let's talk about this. What does tracking the sleep help with? Like what?
Yeah, what I was about to say is that I don't like to take big decisions if I didn't sleep enough. So for example, if I check on the app, I've slept 3 hours and I have to make a big decision, I would say, no, this is not the day to make a big decision. I will wait tomorrow when I have a good night of sleep. Okay. Because you always take bad decisions. We have bad nights of sleep. And it also helps to adapt. For example, if I see, for example, this week, not a lot of sleep. So I check the app and I'm like, 5 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. I'm like, okay. For example, this weekend, I'm not going to go out. I'm going to sleep because I see on the app that I have a debt I have to pay, you know, and being aware of that. Yeah. So yeah, decision making and being aware of your like sleep debt so you can repay it. And the third thing is mental health, because most of the time you are not feeling well. You're like, oh no, I'm not in the mood today. And you start to asking questions like, maybe it's the people, maybe it's my work, maybe it's my family, and then I just slept 3 hours.
I have the same approach. Sometimes I feel sometimes I feel aggressive, or I feel it's like something else. It's like I really am getting annoyed with all of this stuff, and I go through the basics, like how much time did I sleep? Did I have a breakfast? You know, for example, maybe I'm hungry right now, or maybe I'm not, because I have these things with coffee. Like I would take coffee. But then I developed physical dependence on it very quickly. But then I have to give it up anyway because it works funny with me and coffee. And then I'm always like, man, I'm feeling so angry. What's going on? But once I go through these biological reasons, 80% of cases, it's resolved. Say, it's one of those.
Yeah. But it helps asking the right questions. Like, for example, if we have a fight because for example, in couples, both parties have slept 3 hours. You're going to say, no, it's your fault. You're going to project the bad mood on the person. But originally, it was all sleep. So every time you feel like it, you check, okay. 3 hours of sleep.
3 hours. 3 hours.
So for conversations, for example, let's say I have to have a super big debate with my co-founder. I check 3 hours of sleep. I say, okay, no, let's have this debate tomorrow. Let's have this debate later when we're both in a good mood.
But this seems to be not a cringiest fad. So was there anything else? Think about it.
Like I said, I don't follow.
Maybe something really believed in the past and then it didn't work out at all.
I would say TikTok.
TikTok, yes. Okay, top 3. TikTok,
TikTok,
and TikTok. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
But I'm so gonna use. I'm really getting on TikTok after like our interview.
yeah, but for you it's gonna work.
Yeah, it should
I can
work.
give you tips for it didn't work.
Yeah,
But
I will
maybe,
buy a course. Yeah.
all the things I did bad, I can tell you, so you save time.
Okay, it's time to talk about the entrepreneurial life. This is the part that really interests me, because this deep intrinsic motivation, I believe that this is what people really are missing. And I don't know if everyone is actually gifted with this. What motivates yourself?
It's a big one.
That's a big one.
For me, the interesting thing is we started seeing a personal development coach recently with my co-founder, and it helped a lot identifying these things. And for me, there are two types of people. There are Jedis and Sith Lords. So the power of the Jedi comes from good emotions, and the power of the Sith Lord, so Dark Vader, for example, Dark Maul, comes from hate. Usually the bad guy is better than, he got more power than the good guys, and the good guys have to be 2 or 3 to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And what I think is that the bad emotions are stronger than the good ones. So for example, and basically the stick is more efficient than the carrot, because you always avoid the stick. You can get bored of the carrot, but the stick, it always hurts.
Well, it depends on where you stick the carrot as well. But you have to think about this.
Carrot can be a stick sometimes.
Yeah, it can work. It's carrot.
The carrot always in front.
Yeah, well, well, not in where I'm from, So it can be both ways. This carrot stuff.
I don't know. I don't know what happens in Russia.
I'll get you a poster,
Or you put the carrot both ways. It can work for both carrots.
Yeah, it's the same carrot. Yeah. So
now I have to go deep again now. What can I do that?
I took you up the surface.
I was like super philosophical now.
Yeah. You really went, I got this master, I've got the Sith Lord.
Now I got this carrot. And me, I'm more Sith Lord. Like, for me, it's not like I love to win, because I hate failure. I don't want to fail. I feel really bad because I have all this. For example, I imagine all the parallels I have in my life, and all the, for example, JB that does that, JB that does this, JB that does this, and I always want to be on the right one. The most the best one.
And
so if I feel I'm not on the wrong one, I'm like, no.
Hey, what is it like? Talk to me about about the failure. Like, do you look at some people that are, I don't know, that are in your level, and then you want to kick their ass, or you look at somebody else, or some, or is it more about yourself, about that you see yourself? Yeah,
they are both. I think it's good to be aware of that and not to be ashamed of it. So, for example, me, the best thing it can happen to me is have someone that does better than me, and then I hate.
Oh, that's
so. For
cool.
example, if I have another SaaS business in my niche, and I meet a guy, they're doing way more money than me.
Yeah.
And then
Guillaume.
Oh, Guillaume is a good guy. I've met him.
Bummer.
No, he's a good guy. But if I meet someone that I hate, like personally, and I say him doing better than us, I can stand it.
No
I
way.
can stand it. I will maybe use that and channel it into execution.
To hell with the rain. I'm not going to sleep.
But I mean,
I like this.
You have to be aware of the process, knowing that you feel hate and you go, it's like you have the feeling, you catch it like this, and then you rechannel it into a positive way, which is execution.
Have you ever read this book, Psycho-Cybernetics?
No.
It's exactly what the guy is talking about there. It's like you have to, you get angry, and then you channel this energy into this stuff that you're using.
Yeah, because people could feel ashamed of that and not saying publicly like, "Oh no, me, I just want good for people."
I want to be angry.
But Sith Lord is more powerful.
I really want, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like no matter what it's like, that's the thing, and we spoke about this, like the app blocking stuff and blocking the feeds and all of this. You don't want to waste your time on that stuff, and it takes away from your focus, from your energy. So just isolate yourself, put yourself in these constraints, and then just move forward.
It means there is also this thing as positive emotions, they come and go. Like happiness, it comes and go. It can have a lot of different forms. Your definition of happiness can change a lot in life, but your definition of being not happy generally stays the same during a lot of years. It's much more, hate is much more stable than happiness.
Yeah.
it's more like you can rely on it.
definitely.
For example, the food, like at some point you have to hit that, but the food you don't like, it doesn't change. It's always the same.
Celery.
Mm.
Hate celery.
Yeah, and it's much more, if you spend your life avoiding the things that you don't like, there is a high likelihood that you will end up with good things. Even if you don't know what you want, you just spend all your time avoiding the stuff that you don't like. So you're not in the dark. So you're obviously in the light. So I have to, and every time, for example, if I do something, like I say, like I want to build, I do a super podcast today. What is a checklist of a bad podcast? So if I don't do a bad podcast, there is a high chance I do a good podcast.
Yeah, the not to do list, like sort
yeah,
of thing.
just do the opposite of bad, and you do good. Stuff like that. The same like mechanism for the Lord Sit stuff.
Let's talk about like the actual images that you have in your head.
I am a therapist, right?
No. It's actually like this the psycho-cybernetics book that I mentioned. It's also like about framing because basically the idea is there in the book. It's like, how do you do something that you have not done previously, but you want to achieve, but you're not sure about yourself. So the idea is the guy's like, okay, think about something. It can be as small as something as like you learning how to tie your shoes. And then you think about it, and then you kind of frame it into this new task that you want to do.
Yeah, actually, they did an experiment with a basketball team.
Okay.
And there was a free throw contest, and one team just doing free throws training, and one team just imagining doing free throws during the same period of time. And I think the rest of the study, get to look online, but they did better by visualizing and than the people that train. And that is amazing because I think the brain does not make the difference between a real image and an image that have been imagined. So actually you can trick your brain into, I've already done that.
Yeah.
And you can do that. Yeah.
So going back, actually reminds me of how I was getting ready for my motorbike driving license test back in Ireland, like 15 years ago. So yeah, it's did that. It wasn't exactly this. I was on the bicycle. I could rent those out, and I was just like, okay, turn and then everything. And I passed it the first time, so it works pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if you imagine the good scenario and the bad, and you have that clearly in your head.
Yeah.
And I want you to say "tambien." But me also. Spend a lot of time visualizing the outcome I want and the way I like visualizing the process, the result and the process too.
Yeah. And how do what exactly, if you can share some specific, I really would love to have a specific example. Maybe it's, I don't know, like anything that is specific. Maybe you want to achieve something in the business. Maybe you want to build something out or create something new or modify something that's already out there. Like, how do you start thinking about this?
Yeah, visualize more like emotional state. Like for example, I try to feel.
Is there any specific time? Sorry to interrupt. Is there any specific time of the day, like you sit down, you're in the coffee place or in the co-working space or in some other space? I don't know.
In the morning, like during meditation, I try to try to feel the emotion I want to feel. Like even if I don't have it yet, like I try to imagine how would I felt if I achieve this outcome. If this year we reach the target, imagine I would be like really relaxed, like stuff like this. But and I still imagine the bad scenario, like how would I feel if I am the bad scenario? Like I try to feel the bad emotion coming.
So you actually also imagine the best scenario.
Best and bad, yeah.
Okay.
To have carrot and stick.
Yeah, because with the best scenario, it's like you imagine yourself. You imagine it's so good. You're like, I've already achieved it. I don't need to do anything. So
I don't need to do it anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get to just a bit to get frustrated. Maybe that's the key. You give a sample, and then if you want the rest, you need to work.
But let's talk about like a little bit more basic stuff. Maybe I don't know. Like, how do you see yourself as 16? Like, you imagine yourself like looking at your bank account and you're like, okay, this is how much money I have, or like you have some, I don't know, something more physical. Do you have anything of that, or it comes from pure, like I would say even something more ego-y, like talking about like other people that you kind of not really fan of, and then you're kind of that is from there.
I do that. Okay. Yeah, for example, I imagine like for example, you talk to me, let's say, take a scenario, like I'm in a setup, there is a lot of founder, and there is like someone maybe that better, like much bigger business, and he talks down. Like, Like, he talks down to me. I would imagine myself coming back like 3 years and say, what happens now? Like, huh? Who's playing?
Talk to me.
And I mean saying, oh yeah, it's really good. Don't talk to me. I won't talk to you. And I imagine myself taking my revenge like this. Like 3 years ago, like I made him again. Like, I don't want to talk to you. And being like, oh yeah, I'm sorry for last time. I know, this is weird, but it works.
No, it's not weird at all.
Yeah,
It's
I think many people do it too.
Yeah, it's like I really feel like this stuff is a lot more powerful than having this. Oh yeah, I live in a good house. I've got all this stuff. It's like
Yeah,
I don't
bullshit, man.
want to get it, motherfucker. Yeah.
Well, still get you can have that too, but it's less powerful. Less powerful.
Yeah.
And it can change.
So, and you really spend some time thinking about, do you think about like this daily, like during the meditation?
I practice hate on daily basis.
This is going to the front of the podcast.
This is a good catchline. Yeah, I mean, if I lose motivation, I will think about like maybe my enemies working hard.
Yeah.
Harder than me, and say, no, this guy is working right now. I can't let him go, I can't be left behind, Do
you have like
it's good to have an enemy, I think.
No, it is. It's like,
good,
it's like, because it's always like, even if you look like at this Hollywood actors of like the previous era, like the Schwarzenegger and the Stallone, so they always had this thing going on.
Yeah, and if you take all of the movies, for example, the good guy, they become good because they are fighting evil, and evil help them make them better.
Yeah.
So if you find, like, even if you don't really have them, like find an enemy, and like for example in Pokemon, Sasha get Regis.
You lost me here, but keep going. I never looked at.
And like the enemy of Sasha in Pokemon, it helps him a lot get better because it's forcing him. To be better.
And do you have like a list of people you dislike in a way?
I have the Death Note. You know about this one? the anime?
No, tell me.
There is an anime it's called Death Note.
Okay.
And the guy, every time he put a name on the notebook, the person dies.
No, we don't do this stuff.
So I have a list. Yeah. Okay. Won't share it.
No, of course not.
It's like Arya and Game of Thrones too. Game of Thrones, the little girl.
Tell me.
She has a list.
I'm really bad with all the series, but this is stuff that you lost me everywhere, so I don't watch these.
Arya in the Game of Thrones, she has this list,
right?
And she became super powerful because she has this list, and she wants to kill all these people, and she become like the super powerful with that.
Does she have the list in the Excel spreadsheet or?
On Notion. Yeah. Maybe I keep it in my head.
Yeah. No, but you have it in your head, right?
Yeah.
Is there a few people or like one specific?
No,
is there like a boss person that you hate the most? No, like seriously.
No, I think maybe three.
Yeah, I thought 3 for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The triptych of hate.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. That's evil stuff. And what did you like? Do you check them out like on, I don't know, on Instagram or like just no, but seriously, drive me through this.
Daily routine.
Yeah.
No, I just like I've captured this feeling, and then I have it, and then like I try to trigger it. Sometimes I can like, oh no, he's working harder or stuff like that. I never tried to go on the Instagram page, and maybe that would be a good idea actually.
Because you see them.
Yeah, I see like fuck.
and they make it worse on Instagram as well because they portray themselves as they're like even more successful.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think if someone has this feeling, do not like try to avoid it or ignore it, because it can be actually useful and can transform it into a positive thing, because you're going to produce good output to the world, output that is visible, because this hate thing is only exists in your head. It's not real.
Yeah.
So if you use that hate to produce good in the world, I mean, it's the output that counts. So.
Yeah. I love it. And thank you for sharing, because I feel like a lot of people are not ready to talk about it because I imagine myself on this good set, and like bullshit. You just want it to be like, you want to kick someone's ass, and that's it. And that's how you ended up being so and so. But it comes from this competition. Because humans, we are really into competition, competing with others. And
but I'd say that this is diminishing with time. For example, when we started, you have so much, hunger that you want to prove you have nothing.
Yeah.
So you really want to prove, and for example, when you start your company, people will say, "Oh, I was doing your little project, stuff like that. At this conversation, it fed me a lot, because your little project, how is it going? Do you pay yourself? Do you pay yourself? You have a salary, can you pay yourself? So like that. And then someone should gather that and say, yeah, you'll see, Yeah. Because like when you begin, you have way more than right now. Because when your success is obvious, you get more that, congratulations, stuff like that.
Yeah, all these other guys.
So that's why you get to find hate at upper levels. Because when you just started, everyone can hate you easily.
Yeah.
This is not going to work and stuff like that. So it's really easy to gather hate.
And then it goes all the way to like the government level, like I really hate all this. This one is an interesting one. People glorify hustle. How screwed up is your work-life balance, and how do you deal with the pressure? Because you mentioned, I'm really curious because 3-4 hours of sleep is not a crazy amount of hours. So talk to me about your.
So me, I tried. So this is a very interesting question because people they talk a lot about the success stories, but sacrifices not so much. And me, I constantly trying to make no sacrifices. So I want to do everything. So the thing I'm sacrificing the most is sleep because I don't want to sacrifice social life for business. So for example, I work like maybe 4 hours on the weekend, but I don't work on the weekends. But for me, and there is like this spectrum of here there is lifestyle and here there is ambition. And for example, at this side of the spectrum, you get, I'm making a few grands in Bali. I only work 4 hours per day. What I like is going surfing in the afternoon. This is lifestyle of the spectrum. The other side of the spectrum is my life is shit, but in 300 years, people will remember my name. And I'm more interested in the afterlife than life. And this is actually Achilles' dilemma, Before Achilles go to war, his mother says, you can stay here, nobody will know you, but you will be super happy, you will have a super wife, super kids, but nobody will know you. Or you can go to make war, and everybody will know your name in 1,000 years. And I think as an entrepreneur, and maybe as a human being, you have to place yourself on the spectrum to know the sacrifices you are making. For example, me, I try to be in the middle, like to be ambitious, do ambitious stuff, but not sacrifice too much the lifestyle because I want to enjoy the process. So I know that, for example, if I was more on this side of the spectrum, will be more advanced in the business right now. But I'm not frustrated by it because I know this is a sacrifice I've made. That's why we do not grow maybe as fast as we can because we are here on the spectrum. And so if you want a good lifestyle and you're ambitious, know that your lifestyle is the sacrifice for growth, And you can do the opposite. If you want to become a legend and you say, oh, I'm not happy right now. So you chose that. You chose not to be happy to become a legend. So being aware of that choice and being aware of the sacrifices you make. So for me, just a few hours of work on the weekend. And this is like the base, and then sometimes the chaos of to cover and say that I have a morning routine, but this is there is the goal for the structure of your life. So ideally, on the morning I wake up, I do my morning routine. I'm super efficient at work. I eat a good meal. I'm super efficient in the afternoon as well. And then I go back, I see friends. And this is the perfect day.
And I sleep efficiently as well. Yeah. I do 8 hours in 3 or 4. Yeah.
But actually, this is maybe, I'd say, 50, is almost 50-50. And then other 50, you got chaos. And then sometimes, I can work until 2 a.m. or maybe not work at all because I burned out. So I need 3 days.
What do you do until 2 a.m.?
Fixing stuff because our software is 24/7 in all the world. So if it breaks at, for example, 3 a.m., there are people that cannot use the software.
And how do you know it breaks? Is there a notice or something, notification?
Support. Okay. Customer support. Insults. It doesn't work. Fix that. So how do you deal with all this pressure? Because you are yourself getting a lot of this transactional hate as well from people. For me, you don't reduce the stress. You just develop better coping mechanisms. It's like the amount of stress you feel is the same. You just cope with it better. And with time, you like, for example, having like 50 people angry at the support. First time it was like, my God, you know, here's now, yeah, we'll reply, we'll say, it will fix soon, no problem. And you learn that people, they will go down really fast when they are angry. For example, a lot of smileys, like, yeah, we are really sorry, we're gonna fix that, and talk to you ASAP. And sometimes they go from here to here, like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I was really, really fed up, but I understand the situation.
Yeah. It's also, I feel like a lot of people, they kind of let themselves loose in a way because of the email transaction, because people, they wouldn't tell you the same thing if they
it's
looked
amazing
at you in the
how
face.
people are aggressive online.
Yeah,
it's like
it is.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
Again, I was like, no, shut up with your French accent. We don't understand anything. Why is this guy talking? Like so aggressive.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Like even on the support or people, they say insults. And yeah, you gotta take distance with that, obviously, because people, they don't know you.
Yeah.
If you had them in front of you, they wouldn't say the same thing.
Yeah.
So you have to distance yourself and know that this is part of human experience. Hate, like we said, like use it. I know you have it inside you, and people, they have it inside them, and some people, they know how to manage it, and some people don't. So they do that because they are human, and maybe they have slept for 3 hours, and they're not in a good mood, and so you got really forgive these people and always be kind. For me, this is the motto in this situation.
Yeah. And I think smart processes as well in a way. I'll give you an example. I was I'm shopping for a gym right now. So all of a sudden I started seeing ads on Facebook, and one from this one gym chain here in Buenos Aires. So they're like, oh, for prices, basically go to the WhatsApp. And the campaign on Facebook was go to the WhatsApp, and there you will find the prices. So I go to WhatsApp, and there's this basically chatbot there, and is asking me a bunch of questions, and I'm like, okay, he's going to send me the prices now. And then, what's your email? And then I give them the email, and then it's like, okay, somebody will be in direct contact with you. And I was so pissed right away. Like, what is going on with you? You know, and I obviously nobody still hasn't contacted me. By the way, I checked the spam box as well. So it's like, and I ended up sending the middle finger emoji there on the WhatsApp, because I was like, no, I'm not. Like, what's going on? So I don't know.
It's easy to follow the impulse. Like, you just have to click a button.
Yeah, it is easy.
You're done.
But also, like, the process is stupid. So it's like, I just need the prices. It's like you can have them published on the website, like other gym chains do, and no matter like they continue like the inflation stuff, whatever, it's still published these things. But still, nobody's reached out to me. No reply, no nothing. And this was self-inflicted as well. So you have to kind of organize these things like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, what I wanted to say.
We're talking about the work-life balance.
But
the hate,
the hate and the trigger. People, I mean, if they are not in an environment where they suffer the consequences of their actions, you can't judge them, because basically you do something and you don't suffer the consequences from that action. So that's your real action. You do that because you don't suffer the consequences. But for example, if you're in front of the person, you can feel the consequences pretty quick, so you won't act the same way. So, and that's linked to what we were talking about with the no income. And this is what Nassim Taleb, I don't know if you, it's called skin in the game.
Anti-fragile, skin in the game.
Anti-fragile,
skin in the game.
I mean, best books for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Well, like the core principles are amazing. And to be like, if you say something, will you suffer the consequences of what you're saying? If you do this action, and that way, if you have no income when you start, you are skin in the game, because if your company doesn't succeed, you don't succeed. So, and when the both are linked, you are skin in the game, and then everything works better.
Yeah. So like going back to dealing with pressure, do you have like some decompression time? Because you cannot like, I'll give an example. Say in working out, you've got this cycles basically when you can work out maybe for 4-6 weeks, but then you have to slow down and let your body to fully repair, because it's not just muscles, it's other types of connective tissue, and you need to take maybe a week or maybe 10 days off for it to fully repair, and then you can go back. It's also a very good way to fight with a plateau when that happens. Do you have anything like this? Do you plan like, okay, I have 6 weeks of work, solid work, and then I go on a holiday, like completely disconnect and do all this stuff?
So
or
yeah,
anything of
I
that?
don't work on the weekends, so it helps me. I can work like 12 weeks without taking any holidays. But yeah, I took like maybe six weeks off last week, like a no, like employed people, like 5, 6, maybe 7.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's important because that's what everybody say, but it's really a marathon. It's not like sprint.
Yeah.
So
And to reload, to recover, what is your, like, do you have anything at all? Like for me personally, the best thing is like if you go somewhere, climb the mountain, get really
yeah,
tired physically, and then disconnect it from everything, go back.
yeah, sport and just me, just like really like sitting and look at the void.
I love it.
Like
Yeah.
no stimulation because I get really overstimulated by
Yeah,
stuff. And when you are in SaaS, you like notification, boom, boom, revenue, Stripe, like new payment, and
that's horrible. That is
your
horrible.
brain is totally fucked up by all the dopamine, because everything is automated. You can like, and your basically your revenue is like a casino because you are a self-service. So for example, here we had a $5,000 payment.
Mm-hmm.
It was like casino. I opened the thing, boom, $5,000 payment, huge hit of dopamine. So all the afternoon I was like checking again because my brain wanted that same hit of dopamine again.
Crazy. So you're like a Pavlov dog yourself now.
Yeah, but it's like big potential big rewards and unpredictable results. That's the combination of dopamine addiction, like social media, stuff like that.
The casino principle, yeah.
So the brains get really like burned. And sometimes I can't even socialize. I like just need to stay alone 2 days and walk and just like reset the body and do sport, run or exercise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have this. We spoke about this before getting on the podcast. That you have yourself, like, you've got the app that blocks the apps. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to protect focus nowadays because, for example, the generation of our parents, they would say, "Oh, you're always on social media. What is this generation?" But so it was like 100 chemists that work with Instagram to create addiction on purpose in human brains, and they are studies, and like you can't compete. They know how your body works better than you, so it's impossible to resist. So for me, the only solution is to completely block everything. But it's really hard to have a bit. Some people, they can buy like groceries and just buy a bit every day. Yeah, I don't understand that. Me, I hit everything.
That's exactly the same thing. Yeah. If I buy a slice of chocolate, like I buy chocolate.
Yeah. Some people, they will take a bowl and say, "Oh, I'll keep the rest for tomorrow."
Not happening. No,
I don't understand
not on
that.
my watch. No, I'm not letting it go.
Yeah, same thing with me. So actually, like I developed this huge technical stack of focus protection, which is like, I can give the name so maybe they could serve the audience.
Yeah, sure.
So you got newsfeed eradicator. So that will block your LinkedIn feed, your YouTube feed, Instagram feed on desktop. Then you got Opal on mobile. So on Opal, you can program like blocks of time where your app are completely blocked. So you can unlock them with a password because I tried that. You mean it's a password. You boom, password, you're in Instagram. So it's too easy. So for me, I block them from like 6 a.m. to 12 and then from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. So I can't access Instagram and TikTok, for example. And then during my lunch break, these apps are accessible because I need to go on Instagram to reply to messages, for example. Me, I like to all the people to move to WhatsApp. That would be great.
We're moving people to Telegram right
now.
To
Telegram too, because there is way less dopamine there.
Yeah.
And we've got also, but the thing with Opal that you still see the app on your phone. So I have another app that completely hide the app on the phone. So they disappear. So you can click a button, hide, and they will disappear from your phone and your app library as well. So it's like they never existed on your phone. So I got 2 securities. So the app are blocked. So I can like show the app and then try to go on the app, but it won't work because I'm blocked. So I really I think of myself, I'm completely crazy in the future. I'm really determined, like, what would I do? Like, do everything I can to go back like an addicted person,
Yeah.
And do everything I can to build a system that can block, even if I'm super motivated, that can block me.
And work-wise, do you work from home at all? Or do you go, you have the switch, you go to co-working space, or like, how do you...
At the beginning, I was working at home. But right now, I feel the need for different mental spaces. Like, for example, if you mix, because I really believe that spaces, you give them a vibe with the actions you do in them. So for example, here, this like you think about this place. Next time you think about conversation, conversational mood. But if you work and live in the same place, this vibe get mixed. So sometimes you're just at home and you feel the urge to work, or you're at work and you just want to lay on your bed. And for me, it's important to construct different model spaces. But that being said, we worked super efficiently from home during 1 year and a half, so it can work too. So, but it's changed, and my co-founder works at home too. So
So from all this practice and hate, I guess it's like
too much hate here. I had to left the hate.
You just keep working
in this place. No hate at home.
This is a hate spot. Like, you have like a.
You open the door, you're like,
yeah.
You're directly angry.
Good. And do you have any form of like planning? Do you plan your days, your weeks, your months, your years? Maybe do you have anything of that nature?
Me the day.
Personally, like I'm horrible at planning any like long-term stuff. Like I just cannot see the future. I'm like I can plan tomorrow.
Yeah, my co-founder is like you. Is like in 1 month I will be dead.
It's like,
maybe I'll be dead.
Yeah, it's like it's a not likely event with huge consequences. But I mean,
more a planner. Like,
and how do you plan? Like, how do you?
I plan by visualizing. For example, at the end of the day, I will like visualize the next day. Like, okay, tomorrow I'll be that, and that helps me a lot. Like, I feel like after the image existed in my brain, now I have to do it because it existed. So now I have to do it. Yeah, it's a strange feeling, but it works like this.
I find the same thing. It's like once you plan the thing before, like say the next day, it works out really well.
Then just simple to-do list with bullet points.
How many have you got? Bullet points. Like say how many things you want to do in a day.
So before I was like charging the days like way too much. Now I've learned how to put like 3 things and do these 3 things good, because the thing is that if you do it, I realized that, but I've seen it. I had to see it to realize that. But if you do something like too fast, you will have the backlash in 1 week. So actually, if you do the thing good, you save time for later. But at the beginning, I was doing super fast because I wanted to save time. But I realized that I was not saving time because it was constantly backlashing and I was losing time after that. But you get to testify this process to realize it. At least I had to do so. And then for the year, so for example, here, Buenos Aires, I visualized that a lot. Like I was like, at the end of the year, I would be there. It would be great, And I'd say for me, it's 1 year. 8 months. I plan on 8 months. I know where I will be in 8 months. Roughly.
Okay. And 8 months, like how do you like? You start from planning the end point and then work from there, and what do you have in the plan? Like, do you set goals, or what is it, or some behaviors that you want to have installed, or something else?
For me, in terms of where I will be, for example, travels is like 8 months.
Travels is easier.
Yeah,
you can kind of imagine places. So
for execution is more than a week. For example, if this week I'm going to work hard, or this week is going to be a light week. So in terms of work, it's more on a weekly basis.
Company growth, anything of that nature?
Company growth is we do weekly as well.
Weekly.
Do
you have a yearly one? Like
we have yearly and weekly. We have a yearly goal, and then we follow every week our like progress on the yearly goal.
And yearly goal, how do you set it? Like,
honestly, it depends on, because everything is possible basically. So you just have to pick a number that is reachable. Yeah. And then and actually we started doing.
Are there like any KPIs that you look at specifically?
KPIs, yeah. I mean, we at the beginning, no, it was just money. What I recommend is that you don't need to track a system that you don't have at the beginning. So, for example, tracking activation and stuff like that. Just need to sell, make money, and then you will take care of that. Because, for example, if you build a sales funnel, you want to analyze activation because that will increase revenue. But if you have no revenue, I mean, if you have nothing on your bottom funnel, don't even look at the top funnel,
right? Because
you only look at top funnel when you want to increase bottom funnel efficiency.
Yes.
So first you create revenue, and then you say, okay, how do we optimize? You create the data basically. At the beginning, you have no data, so you have to create enough data to analyze, and you're going to switch a lot. of sales funnel at the beginning. So let's not bother like analyzing it too much, because maybe you can switch like you'll say, oh, LinkedIn, then this other channel, a bit of ads, So try things, see the revenue, and then you pick a funnel and say, okay, this one we are going to optimize and check the metrics. And us, we track every step of the funnel. So traffic, signups, launch rate. So if the export has been launched, download rate as the export been downloaded, and then payment. And then we say, okay, we have a huge buying rate, but the launch rate is really low. So if we send more people to the download phase, we'll have more clients because the buying rate is really high. And the analysis are pretty simple. You see where is the problem on the funnel, and say, let's unlock stuff here so more water can come at the end of the funnel.
So keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, just like 5, maybe. I think it should be like 5-6 steps maximum. But yeah.
Okay.
And another metric that is super interesting to track is time to activation or time to buy, time to launch, time to download, stuff like that. Basically, time to value. So you have to reduce the time to value as much as possible. And time to value is that the second when someone sign up, and and the second where people see value. And if that is 10 seconds, that's great. For example, in gym, that's 6 months. More than that. So
I have this like
define that.
Yeah, it's like I have this theory as well about like, say, when you send a connection request on LinkedIn, and when they approve you, like you have to send them something as quickly as possible, because they have psychologically just approved you, checked out your profile, they've approved you, or they haven't checked you, but they've just approved you. So then you just come up with something that is not a sales pitch in the first message, and then you'll be fine most of the times. So this is time to action is
because you get value, but you also get speed of value.
Yeah,
like you can provide value and you can provide it fast. And sometimes we focus a lot on value. But the pace at which you provide value is really
as possible. You should
important as well.
Get it. So planning wise, okay, I got it. So if you have this yearly thing and then you work from there, do you have any different types of, say, goals? Like, say you've got business goals, you've got your social stuff, or maybe personal development stuff that you're pursuing. Do you like divide them in buckets or anything for what you want to do?
This is the thing is that business goals are shared, because obviously we are co-founders, so we share the same business goals, so we are into this. And then for personal, it's more like for me, I had this checklist since I'm a child that like I want to visit these places and do that. So also, for example, be a millionaire, So that's not so far now.
So far.
And for me, it's more as long as I feel I make progress and I'm learning stuff, because you can enjoying the path is more important than the results actually. So it's like, for example, millionaire. It could be like this, because it's the way to get there that is super interesting, because the person that you will be when you reach that is most likely an improved version of the version you have right now. Yeah. So the goals help the path, The goals help the path, and not the reverse. Because if you do the reverse, if you hate the path, you want the goal and you hate the path, you would get depressed like super quickly.
Yes. That happened to me. To me. Yeah, it's like once you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. It's like for example, being more like an extroverted person myself, like if I'm stuck there with spreadsheets, it kills me. Right away. So at some stage I realized that I hired somebody. It's like the person, she was like, spreadsheets actually calm me down. So calm when I'm doing this. I'm like, perfect. Perfect. This is perfect.
Yeah.
But this is this path is super important, because like what you're going to do is like fill up the bath with like the money and then just like swim in it. Like what you're going to do is like
And I realized that after we hit 1 million annual recurring revenue. I was thinking about that since maybe 5 years, and we reached that. It was like okay, so same guy. Nothing's changed so much.
Nothing is different here.
But you expect this, because you expect the reward when you reach the results. But I think when you reach the results, you already had all the reward.
Yeah.
So it's like you got like maybe you got 100% of the reward. En fait, the reward is distributed on the path like 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. Actually, when you reach the goal, there is nothing left.
Yeah.
Because you already had all this reward within the path, you know.
Yeah.
So when you reach, you expect this big hit of dopamine, you know, but usually it's not there. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey that is important, not the destination, like they say.
So can you was I say something else?
No, go on.
Okay. Can you share behind the scenes mistake that almost cost you big time, but turned out to be a valuable lesson? Maybe a business or personal. That'd be good.
I mean, I tend to trust people too quickly. So, for example, I want to hire, especially at the beginning, I wanted to hire people to do stuff. So I do one meeting. Oh, you seems a nice guy.
Perfect.
I like you. Let's hire. Finally, they're not like competent at all to do the task. But I'm glad that I made those mistakes at the beginning. So they weren't handling so much stuff. For example, in SEO, I hired an agency for backlinks. And in this business, like 80% of agencies that are not doing the job well. But actually,
I actually remember about this. One of the co-founders of Authority Hacker, Gail, he is your competitor, by the way. And he was saying, like, it was talking about writers. He was saying to me, when I hire writers for SEO stuff, I'm looking for any reason not to hire them. So that was, he's like, any reason that is also like not to hire them. So I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
brutal hiring. Yeah.
I mean, you have to develop that sense, I think, because if you see one red flag after 5 minutes, there is a high likelihood that it's not going to work. And you're gonna, I know, and you forgive too much. Like, actually, first impression is human brain is super good at detecting, judging people, because we've been doing that for like 3,000 years, and really good at detecting intentions, reading the faces, reading the intentions, stuff like that. So I think you can go full gut if you feel something is not right when you are talking to someone and when you are, doing job interviews, like.
And you slept for more than 3 hours.
Yeah,
of course.
Because it's like, if we purely speaking of costs. So here you had potentially you lost a good person for your company, but you potentially had a bad recruitment that was going to pay for 6 months. So actually, the trade it's better to not have FOMO and to let this talent go and find another one. You have like 100%
to actually not hire anybody. Yeah. Mathematically speaking, that is correct. Yeah. That makes sense.
But it's good is that make big errors with small consequences. For example, hiring. We hired a backlink agency on a small budget at the beginning. So they did like a few backlinks. So the lesson was not pay with a high price. Mm-hmm. And if you got this opportunity to try stuff, and with my co-founder, we divide actions into 2 categories. So reversible decisions and irreversible decisions. So if this reversibles, no ask, you do, and you see the outcome. Mm-hmm. If it's irreversible, then you think a lot about it, you prepare a lot. Mm-hmm. And if you can have like just estimate the risk or stuff and see what you can try and not try. It's important to make that differentiation between irreversible and reversible. For example, my co-founder is a little bit more perfectionist. And the debate we have all the time is I think everything is reversible. Okay. So I say that, we do that, it's reversible, no problem. And he is thinking everything is irreversible. It's like, if we do that, man, imagine. No, it's nothing,
Yeah.
So we're trying to find
I like this. So you've got a very different, that's beautiful. So you've got this combination that you can play with. Yeah.
And we're super different.
Yeah, perfect.
In the way we approach execution. Yeah. Me, I'm like no thinking, just execution and get feedback from reality as fast as possible. Yeah. So that's worked well in games where defeat is not definitive. Right. For example, SEO, you write a post, it doesn't work, you improve it. If you sell your company, you sell it one time. You can try to sell it, then resell it the next time, and resell it the next time. No, if you lose the first game, you've lost. Over. So we always say that if someday we lose the company, Robin will handle it because he have more like this irreversible decisions brain. And for tasks in which we need super fast iteration and get feedback from reality, I'm the one that does it because I like that. You know?
Yeah.
So, and I think it's really valuable to have different personalities when you have a co-founder. So for example, to Robin, paralysis, to me, a mess. You know.
Right.
So and here we found an equilibrium. So if we are agree, it means that it is a good decision.
Right.
Because we both represent both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. And was it always like this, or you had to kind of deal with some storming, like, you know, what is it, foreman, storming, Norman, performing type of stuff that the teams have when they first built up? Did you like argue a lot, or like did you ever? Would you, in general, would you recommend having a co-founder at the very start, or how does it look like?
Yeah, I try to imagine like having built this company alone, and the emotional charge should be really hard because co-founder is not solely technical; it's emotional support. Mm-hmm. So when everything goes to shit, you have your co-founder, and you can help each other. If one is down, you can one up. And if you are both down, well, you're still in that together. But if you face big problems alone, and the thing is that you have someone that understands your life. Because when you are doing, for example, you launch a company in a specific space, your parents don't understand you, your friends don't understand you.
Your parents, what are you doing?
Like, yeah, they don't understand you.
I think he's gone nuts. Yeah, he's just crazy.
And actually,
do you have any brothers?
One big brother.
Oh, yeah, so you've got a second shot, but this one is... that's it.
Yeah, he understands a bit because, he's in business too a bit, so he understands. But it can be pretty lonely. Like you are facing a big problems, you don't have the solution, and nobody understands you.
And like, you're in your head as well. You're in your head. This is crazy.
And you can share because sharing, you think a lot when you share. So I would definitely recommend even if someone is not like super, efficient, like having just the emotional support have more value than all the rest.
Interesting.
And that's the thing, you can have someone you can rely on that learns at the same pace than you, and same motivation as well, because it's a spectrum. So you have to be on the same side of the spectrum. Because if one wants to go in Bali surfing and the other one wants to be a legend, they can't work together.
You have to have common goals.
Yeah. And be on the same side of the spectrum. Yeah.
Does Robin want to go Bali surfing, or he wants to be a legend?
No, actually, he's more on the ambition side than me.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's pulling me a bit.
I see. Wait, is he back in France or?
No, he's here actually.
Is he?
Yeah,
okay,
you're
good. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, he arrived yesterday actually. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next time we do.
We should tell us all the secrets, right?
Yeah.
So now tell us what it really is.
Because we got all
this guy is
all
like
the bullshit from the marketing guy.
Exactly.
We want the tech guy to talk.
Yeah. Talking about this feeling stuff and everything. Do you ever get depressed? And if you do, how do you deal with this stuff?
So most of the time is the most lack of sleeps. So if you have too much options and you don't know what options to choose, you feel anxiety. Mm-hmm. And if you have no options, you get depressed. So too much options, anxiety; no options, depression. So worst thing that when you have a problem and you feel like you can do nothing about it. Like, for example, at the time when we were like the plateau, I was like, I don't know what to do.
And this is when TikTok was born, right?
No,
but this is
that time.
Yeah?
No, a bit later.
A bit later.
Because I had faith in TikTok. It's after the TikTok I was like, didn't work.
Okay, so now what?
What can we do? And during the summer, I was like, maybe this company, maybe we finish the game. Maybe we can do more than that.
Interesting.
And then I came across Alex Hormozy content, and I watched all the videos, and I understand why we're in its plateau.
And why?
Because basically the number of new customers was equal to the number of customers that churned every month. So it's actually pretty simple when you think about it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but actually we've been ignoring churn all this time. Because So in the SaaS industry, it's pretty standard to have a high churn, especially in B2B. So we're always focusing on acquisition. But the thing is that, so the more you grow, the more your business is a percentage game. So for example, if you say to Apple, they can save 1% of the turnover,
Right.
that's huge
Yeah.
for them. If you tell us you can save 1%, it's not so huge, you know. And the more you grow, the more percentages are important. And so the churn at the beginning, not important. You have 10 clients, you have a churn of 10%, you lose 1 client per week, but you gain 50. But once you have 1,000 clients, you still have a 10% churn, you lose 100 clients per month. So every month you get to first compensate that loss and then do more than that to grow. And that's harder and harder. So that's at the end, this is a percentage game and you're forced to look at the churn. And that's what we realized. It was like, we had to tackle this churn issue because this is like preventing us to grow more. And that's what we are doing right now is like on the pricing side, features, structuring the business, delegating. That's what we are tackling, quality and churn. Yeah.
So going back now to the depression stuff. So does it, this is a big question. This is a big one because does it ever like grip you? Because sometimes I have like, for me, I can be like, this is something probably genetic. I don't know. During the day, I can be really depressed. And then, I don't know, half an hour later, I'm back into it. Like I bounce back easily. And again, I start thinking, it's like, did I sleep well? Did I have a breakfast? Like what else is going on? Am I tired? I have a coffee or something like that. But then this stuff happens and I just let it be, you know, like whatever. And it's like sometimes my eye would tear up as well sometimes. And everything seems to be fine as well. But I'm thinking like it's not. And then it kind of bounces back. So I'm curious if you experience anything like that.
Yeah, obviously same thing. But say you realize that it always passes, you know. And you're looking back, you're like, why so much drama? You know,
You always figure it out.
Like, you know, I have this belief that everything will end well all the time. And most of the time, when you feel depressed,
Será.
Exactamente. I feel depressed when I'm stuck. And actually, in entrepreneurship, you are never really stuck because you have the solution. So, for example, I was depressed when I was like working in a company because I felt trapped. I have ideas of solution, but I felt trapped because they won't let me do the things I had in mind. So I felt really trapped in my job. So that's where I get depressed. You know? But in entrepreneurship, you have the power to change things. So you can always say, I'm stuck. You are stuck, but you have the power to change things. So really quickly, you can. For me, it helps me, like, put me in a better mood. But worst thing for me is not so much depression, but more like small burnouts.
Okay.
Like I think three. Yeah. Well, like during 3 days, I'm like, brain is like.
What do you do then? Do you just
the void? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The void.
Reset.
Yeah. No screen. Spend time with people, family. Like back to basic. I mean.
Yeah.
Eat good food.
Hunter gathering. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Good food, people, and sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was I had this interesting trip to Tajikistan at some stage, like a year or so ago. It's like, and it's right there. The country, it has a border with Afghanistan. People have super low wages. They are very laborious there. The work, there's a lot of physical labor, and I must say we did so much physical stuff there while I was there because I was living in this family, and it made me feel so healthy. Like I felt so happy, you know, it's like all this stuff that we're really, and especially as men, I believe, because for us, like this hormonal response, because when you dig, like say you have got a shovel and then you dig the turf, like the ground and everything, you see the result immediately and you apply the physical kind of force to it. So you immediately get this feedback and you feel so happy and like fresh air and everything. And you're not thinking about anything as well, because you cannot really, because all you're doing is just shoveling. So to me, this was like, oh my God, this is so good. I love it so much.
Yeah, because I think the key is to feel useful. Like,
in a way, yes. And you see the result of your work really quickly. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to, like right now for the past few weeks, I've been working on a VSL and I'm still like, I'm just going to finish maybe today or tomorrow. It's like, and it's like one thing I'm working on, it's like time and time again, and it's not physical. I cannot hold it. It's on the screen, but that's it. It doesn't make me super happy.
Yeah. So I have a huge respect for people like writing books. because like spending like 6 years writing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like for example, Tolkien for me is like
My God.
God, you know, like to have all that in your head, right?
But the guy lived in the era without any screen time as well. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was easy for him. It was just more exciting to write the book than just being
Didn't have to
there.
download all the apps that block apps.
Exactly. But what about the loneliness then? So okay, if depression is not really the thing, which that's good. But what about the loneliness stuff? Because like the stuff that you're practicing right now, like people look at you, and I mean maybe not so much say in Europe and the States as well, because people understand these things. But like say I say in Argentina, like for example, where we're right now, people look at you like you're crazy. Like what's up with the loneliness aspect?
I think it's because in French we don't have that, but in English you have is like a solitude, like being like alone, like geographically, right? And loneliness, which is the feeling of being lonely. So I'd say there is a lot of solitude in entrepreneurship because people they don't understand what you are doing, and you are actually physically alone because you don't have colleagues, for example.
Yeah.
You can be a solopreneur, so you are physically working alone. Maybe your co-working space, stuff like that. But yeah, you spend actually, I spend most of my time when I work alone. So, and I prefer it that way because I easily...
I mean, yeah, because once there's only 10 people, the smart
yeah,
like,
get easily distracted.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot and that's why there is so many communities about freelancers and entrepreneurs, because people they feel the need to connect, because if they stay on their end, they are actually alone. And there is like the physical solitude, and then emotional a bit, because feeling that being understood, you don't have it. And I think you have to be prepared for that, because this is the price of doing something different. You can do like something cool, being understood, and it's part of the sacrifice. Your parents, they won't understand, they will doubt. People, they will doubt.
It's like the TikTok influencer career you were trying to take. Yeah,
sad. It's completely buried, that one. Yeah.
Just still get back to it.
But yeah, I mean, if you need a lot of people in your life and you need to constantly be interacting and get people's energy, maybe entrepreneurship is kind of lonely, I'd say. You get me, it doesn't bother me because I enjoy spending time alone, and then I have friends outside, so no problem with that. But yeah, one's got to be prepared to feel lonely, I guess. I think this is like everybody shared that experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Apart if you like raise funds and get like 50 people they want to
yeah.
in your company.
But I also feel like sometimes there's like like even the people that work in office, many people say I'm surrounded by all these people, but I feel alone. So I don't feel like you cannot really. At times it's like overestimated in a way. Oh, I feel lonely. Yeah, man, come on, just go outside, talk to somebody. That's it.
Yeah.
And you'll feel better.
Yeah, I think the thing is that you have to stop explaining. Yeah. So if you want to know, I explain you, but I won't try to convince you that I do cool stuff. Or I don't know. If you want to know, I tell you, but I won't try to explain. For example, if my parents they ask, I will explain, but I won't say, "Oh, do you know what I do?" Because
have they asked still?
So first, they don't care. Just want for me to be happy. Is it working? Yeah, good.
Like actually, I remember it about the stuff that Gal was telling me from Authority Hacker. He was like, "Yeah, my family is still like, don't understand this internet stuff that I'm doing. Is like, and they're still like, I don't know if it still happens, but I'm sending like 20 or 50 euro a month, just to keep it going. Like, you have enough food, son, stuff like this."
But I mean, if your parents are understanding what you're doing, you're not doing something innovative. That's for sure. I mean, that's a red flag. Like if your parents say, "Oh yeah, totally see what you're doing," you're like, maybe not the right business. Or maybe you're a lawyer and that's great.
Or maybe you start like a metallurgist or something.
Yeah. You like classic jobs.
Charleroi or something. Oh my God, this is my geography stuff popping out.
Oh yeah.
And talking about like just something you mentioned, the community and everything, like do you yourself participate in any SaaS, maybe masterminds, or you have a couple of, like you mentioned that you're in touch with a couple of French founders as well? And if there is anything like you participate in actively, or you are just happy with, say, Robin inside the company, and then that's how you roll?
This is an interesting one because it changed. So at the beginning, I was like, networking is completely overrated. especially in SaaS, because actually you do something online, people take them online, etc. Like me, I want to spend time with clients. So for me, a client can provide more value, for example, between talking to, at the beginning, a client or a SaaS founder. I will 100 times talk to a client because I will have way more value from the client than the SaaS founder.
Mm-hmm.
And now it changed because we know the client a lot and we have problems that only few people solved, and these people are SaaS founders. So now we need to talk to them because the answer is not on Google anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say how to go from 2 million to 10 million on Google and say, follow these steps. You don't have that. So
right.
So you got to find these people and network with them. And yeah, we've been to a mastermind like 1 month and a half ago in Dubai, and with French entrepreneurs. And the best thing was the humility it gives you. Because, for example, if you're in a small group of friends, for example, and you're like you're the one with the most advanced business, for example, you can feel that, in the most advanced, you can develop that ego a bit. Then you go to another place, and then you
smashed.
Yeah, you smashed many things. You got your humility slap.
You got this. Bring
coffee. Yeah. What I wanted to feel after the mastermind is poor and dumb. I want to go there and feel poor and dumb at the end. And actually that worked. And I'm like, okay, the path is like only at the beginning,
I love it.
And to have these people, like, you talk to people and you feel they're smarter than you.
This is the first time you went to something like this?
Yeah.
To this ego destruction festival?
Yeah. Okay. You can call it that way. Yeah. You can call it that way, actually. Yeah.
I like this position. It's like, go destroy your ego and then work on the stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you have to feel small. So I think it's important to feel small and constantly be small and have this...
Was there a lot of people there?
Like 50, yeah.
Okay.
I think this is in the Roman Empire, when a general came back from war, and they were on this parade on the char, and like with all the crowds, like, congratulations. And there was a guy that was paid to stay behind and whisper in the ear, you are just human. You are just human. You are just human. Yeah. And just repeating that during the parade. Yeah. And there's the same thing, I guess, on the entrepreneurship parade.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah.
You're like,
that won't last.
Yeah.
I think everybody should have someone that say that.
It's like, I remember this one guy from he's like from a TV show, but like it was back in Russia. He's funny. He's got a double citizenship as well. It's interesting. It's French, and he has this ring. And once he spoke about what it says on the ring, and it was actually Tsar Solomon quote. It's like, these two will pass. So it's like, you always look at it like the good will pass, the bad will pass, everything will pass. Yeah. So what's the future of Evaboot? How are you seeing this?
I mean, right now we are like, I feel coming at the end of this cycle of restructuring. We're starting to learn how to hire, how to building processes. So I feel once that is done, we'll be able to re-enter in that growth phase. And I think the potential of the business is like 10 million ARR. I think we can reach that if we develop new features, improve the acquisition channels. So, because I feel we learned a lot. And once you have like the skills of recruiting people and you've done it well for one person, and then you can scale that. I think that's a new superpower. It's like SEO. You can write an article that ranks, then you could write 1,000, and your result will like demultiplicate.
Course is coming in 6 months.
Stay tuned. And I feel so SEO, YouTube, we had that superpower, but we didn't have the superpowers we need to go further. That is like product development, reducing churn, hiring, delegating, choosing the right partners, stuff like that. And that is new powers that we are building right now. And once we master that, I guess we'll have the firepower to go even more.
Any advice you have for young or older SaaS founders? Anything you want to share? Like maybe talk to yourself from like 5 years ago or something.
Like I said, the rules are simple. So I will simply repeat what I already said. So it's do something people want. So really find a problem that is painful for people. then you do things that don't scale. So you go fix the problem yourself. You don't hire anyone. You go by yourself, fix the problem. And then you do this one thing. You do it every day, and you do it for a long time. And all that combined, you are likely to succeed, I think, within the next year.
You're not offering any shortcuts at all. Like you're making
No axe. No axe.
Any silver bullets. No, nothing.
No. Only
maybe I can
pain
do
and suffering.
Some of it with AI. Maybe I can go.
No. I think that message should be generalized, like, because we had these what I call the entrepreneurship movies, for example, The Social Network, and this is really harming the vision of people on entrepreneurship, because like a cinematographic vision of entrepreneurship, actually, it's boring. Like you are behind your computer clicking on buttons. It's not like an action movie at all. It's pretty boring. It got to be not boring for you. And that's the best stuff. If it's not boring for you, but it's boring for a majority of people, you can make a lot of money, because what you're interested in doesn't interest other people. So you have an edge on that.
That's a really good one. Anything else you want to share?
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
being here. It was fun.
Yeah, I had a great time.
So guys, share the interview, share the podcast, subscribe to the channel. Find the man, go try Evaboot, and we'll see you in the next one.